Hello, peoples. What's been going on? Pam, you going to call up and tell me what's been going on? Besides, these people are crazy. I just saw where's Tecmo's stupid self. Um, I just saw I just saw I just saw Tecmo hate Tecmo. Where is he? Where is he? Why doesn't he come in? I want him to explain why these people are experts.
Yes. Hello.
Okay.
Hello, Matt. Hi.
Hey, Matt.
Hi, Blurry.
Hey, listen.
Hi,
Because,
33.
and by the way, Matt, Lynn's still confused. She's saying you're a felon. She's confused.
That's so
okay.
Stressful.
Hey, can you explain to me what I just watched? Because I'm a little behind.
Okay. Well, you mean from the beginning of the day? Or from last night? Or just in general?
Look, I don't know that Neva woman, but if she wants to come in here and explain, she's more than welcome to. Because what I saw was Neva, who, by the way, I don't know her. But what I do know is that girl on Periscope, do you know what her name is, Pam? I can't think of her name. But she's got a lot of following. She did a whole little series on why she Neva's a liar. About lying about COVID people in Florida.
Oh, yeah. I kind of briefly remember that, but I don't
hold
really.
On, 33. Yeah, hold on just a second. Okay, so yeah, the municipal system has it wrong, Matt. You need to call them and let them know.
Right.
And the other thing she said was that felons are not credible. Okay, well, this is the question I have. Don't felons turn state evidence daily? And they are deemed credible?
Yes. Yes, they are.
Okay, so, it's craziness. But this was my issue. I just watched Tecmo's stupidity. And Tecmo's stupidity, hold on just a second, Gretel. I want to get this out and then I'll let y'all come on. But I want to talk about what I just saw, which I haven't seen very much. I've actually been busy, but okay. What I just saw was the Neva woman, Shauna, and Lynn, as Tecmo said, while we have these three people, we want to get all this advice. Okay. I don't know about Neva. That's why I'm asking her to come in. But what I do know is that Lynn is not even a licensed dietitian anymore. Hasn't worked in how many years?
Several.
And I don't think she has the resources or knowledge to be able to give any kind of medical anything. First of all, she's a dietitian. Second of all, she's not even a licensed one of those. And then you had Shauna, and what I found was interesting was when the Neva lady was talking about how you can do lots of things and become a sex offender, that Shauna got real quiet. I don't know if Neva doesn't understand. She's talking to Shauna, whose dad is a sex offender.
Yes, registered
sex offender. So that was really interesting. And then I also had a question because I saw all three of them on the beam as to the N word that everybody knows. I think it's disgusting if anybody says it. But then you have the Neva woman up there with Lynn, who we know says the N word all the time.
Often. And, can I say this? Shauna mentioned that when Lynn had said it was months ago.
Stephen, I'll let you up in a minute, but I wanted to talk this through, and then I'll let you.
We've got a few things to discuss. We noticed that Lynn said, Shauna said that Lynn hadn't said it in a long time. Okay, so we're going to assume since these Periscope people have been here for 5 years, I've heard a number of recordings.
Okay, well, let me just say this to Neva. She can't be that stupid. If you are in the South and if you ever say that word, you don't just change and stop saying it. She was raised that way. She says it. She said it on Periscope. She said it in many, many different
forums.
And so
Yes.
it's just kind of disgusting. Like the hypocrisy is like,
Right. And we need to also relate to, it's been, okay, so let's say 5 years. Okay, that's what they've all been on here. And I don't know the most recent time that she has actually used the word on here, but that really doesn't matter to me. It's not a word that's in my vocabulary. However, let's remember the case of Paula Dean, who had said the word 20 years before she was
right,
called out for
right.
it and lost everything,
Well, I'm
including her
just saying
program.
the
So,
hypocrisy is this. You can't sit there when you're talking in front of people that know what's happened
mm-hmm.
and sit there and act like, you know, I mean, that's why everybody wants to know. Like, apparently, Tecmo's asking, where's talking about me? Where's my opinion? Look, I don't have an opinion anymore, Tecmo.
No,
I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. I'm dealing with my business the way I have to deal with it on what's been said about me and what's been done to me. The rest of it, you're not going to get any outrage from me.
no. But then there
Because when I
were,
see Kathy Barker and Tina Piazza doing this nonsense, and I've watched the whole cult of states say the most horrific things about 33 and his children for at least a solid year, I don't have any outrage anymore.
exactly. But we also heard someone today, Crickets, Tina, raging with numerous racial slurs, and no one even brought that up.
Well, that's because
But they
because
brought
it's
up
all,
33.
as long as she's going against 33, they don't care.
Right. It's okay.
They
It's
don't
okay.
care. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. And that's the
Right.
hypocrisy.
Right.
So,
Against
and I
33.
have my same stance, and 33 knows my stance, which is, I think those words are vulgar and disgusting. He's a grown man. He can say them if he wants to. But don't come on here like Tecmo and act like these people haven't done anything.
Exactly. And I'd also like to say that they were commenting a lot about Stephen. And Stephen, I want to
Hi.
tell you that these words are not acceptable. Some of the things you have said are not acceptable. Even in anger, it's not acceptable. Okay. As for 33, they say, what are we doing? Well, I've only been really close to 33 for probably 4 or 5 months, maybe. And I work my magic.
I can
He
speak for
knows
myself,
exactly.
darling.
Yes, I know.
I can
I
speak for
know.
myself, and you know what? Look, I'm not for everybody. Hi, Karen. How are you? I hope everything's well. Thanks for having me up here. I know I'll keep it PG just for everybody's. But there's some things I need to put out there. If Gretel, if you need to speak, I'll give you the
Okay.
floor, darling. Go ahead. Hi.
Okay.
This is Stephen. Stephen, look, I don't know if we've even talked very much, but I could
Oh,
say, no, you hold on one second. Tecmo, I'll
I
get to
gotta
you in a
explain
second.
something.
You've been asking for my opinion, so you're about to get it. So I wanted you in here to get it. You've been on
yeah,
every scope
yeah,
asking
yeah,
for my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
Stephen, this is what I have to say to you. Stop listening to these people on this app. Just stop listening
Uh-huh.
to them. And somebody is
Okay.
not your friend if they've ever called the police on
Mm,
you,
yeah,
okay?
yes,
Or
Stephen.
threatened to do
Can
I
I
know
so.
just say
that.
something,
I know
Stephen?
that. Can I
Stephen,
explain
yeah, you
something?
can explain something. I'd like to chime in because
Oh shit, lost
I
connection.
really don't have much to say to you, Stephen.
Hold on. My connection comes
I
back.
used to like you, Stephen. Okay, and
Oh.
so you should hang up and call back because you might want to hear what I have to say, Stephen. I used to like you, Stephen. All right, I used to feel badly. I have a soft spot. My aunt, who Tina is now throwing her picture around, okay, was a little special, kind of like you, Stephen. She was a very lovely woman, and Tina, you're a disgusting individual for what you're doing. But you know what? You have to look in the mirror and live with yourself. That's Stephen. I'm just saying, you brought all of this upon yourself because you just want attention. And I'm just saying, Stephen, you don't need that much attention. Find a few good people in your life. man who had brain damage, the one that you caused all that stuff. That's a young man you should look to aspire to be more like. Will. Will is a wonderful human being. And Will, if you're out there, hit me up on Legend of 33. I want to sponsor your project.
Wait a minute, 33. We have to talk about one issue at a time. And let me finish this addressing Stephen. What I don't like is you've got 3 people on a beam in Technoscope. And look, they said it themselves. Lynn is a dietitian that doesn't even have a license. She's not capable of making any type of medical diagnosis. They've talked about law enforcement. They put down Val and her sergeant status at the NYPD, along with Ice Wolf, and that's why the title of this is "Who Are the Experts?" These people need to just really stop it. They sound dumb every day.
Yes,
they literally sound dumb.
All right, I'm gonna defer to you, ladies, but I do want to add a few things because I find this phenomenon that's what's going on with this so-called Tecmo, your character inserting himself, and then you have this quite interesting character, Never. I don't even know. I know I went on a rant on her. It was a comedic rant, and you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not going to be stifled and, shut up by you politically correct police. You know what? If you don't like me, you can X me out. You don't have to associate with me. But the funny thing I found about Never is her cousin is lying. And he is a black Israelite who thinks that I am a fucking fraud and that I should be killed. And he hates all white people. The irony of it all is that they have 2 fake racists, Never on one end and Lynn on the other. It's quite brilliant.
Yes, it actually is quite brilliant when she's been running around using the N-word for years on this app, but yet Never only calls out the people she doesn't like.
I don't even know who this woman is. Do you know why I did her like that? I said, Never, who are you to sit in judgment of me? They're putting information out. How about come see me? Never, you couldn't shut your mouth up. And so now I mocked you and shamed you, and you're still screaming my name. How does it taste?
Well, I think that you've triggered them all from what I've seen, and I haven't seen all your videos. I know that you did a ton of videos, and everybody wants to know my opinion about them, and I don't have an opinion because guess what? They are, and all this nonsense. They are hypocrites. Look. I watch them run around and call you the P word you talk about your children, talk about this. I don't know what you're giving back to them, but
Listen, counselor, all I'm going to say is this. I'm not asking for approval, and I am not proud of some of the things. Hold on, let me just say this, please. Listen, I just want to say this. I am not proud, okay, some of the things that I do, but I'm going to say I'm effective. And you know what? Sometimes, good people have to do nasty things to point out that, look, man, you're a slave. If you say the N-word, then you're really thinking of saying the word. And then if you can't, then don't use it anymore. I mean, I'm just tired of the hypocrisy. What's next? It's going to be the retard word.
And let me address Steak, since his dumbass wants to come in here. Did he not just hear me say I do not approve of the insult? Say that across the board.
But he says Schwarzer. He calls blacks. Hold on. But he says Schwarzer, counselor, and that means the same thing. He gets away with it because he's a little sneaky Jew, right, Don? And I'm not an anti-Semite. I just can't stand you because you embarrass all Jews. Where's your sacrifice, Don?
Can I say something?
Jewish people, because I let Jewish people hear his nonsense. And if he really
I'm ashamed of Don Steaks.
Can I really cared about this?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Because I want to say this. I want to say this, Karen. Don Steaks,
nobody's mad, Tecmo.
You just said that they enable 33. Let me tell you, we've only had him in our presence for 4 or 5 months. He used to be with you people.
Wait a minute. Enabling anti-Semitic anything. Look,
absolutely
they don't like you.
Absolutely not. We're not enabling him at all. We don't enable his drug usage or his language or his words or anything.
Yes, I know they love me, Matt, and that's why they're here, because they cannot get enough of me. Tecmo has been screaming my name, wanting me to give my opinion, so here I am, but he can't keep his mouth closed long enough to listen.
All right, well, I feel awkward being up here. Can I say what I came up to say and I'm going to leave?
Yes, go ahead.
I heard Lynn say today that Stephen Delvecchio has been deemed disabled by the courts, and people should tread lightly picking on him. That anybody who picks Delvecchio because he was, deemed disabled by the courts mentally, that they could get in big trouble. Well, guess what, Lynn? Little Lenny Poo Poo. I've been deemed mentally disabled by the courts.
Right.
You picked on me all the time. That's all I have.
Make a final statement. I'll hop down, Karen.
Yes.
I really appreciate this. I know, and I promise to keep it clean. I really do. I'll try not to be disgusting. But the thing is that you old people call me and say things about my children and how I violate them with absolutely no proof. But when I provide you proof that Kathy Barker enjoys bestiality live on a live stream, and it shows that she intently put it out there, where's your outrage? I can't believe all of you could sit there and not have a word to say about that. It's shameful, and this is the society we live in. But keep calling me all the names you want and live in your hypocrisy. I hope it tastes wonderful. Thank you, Karen.
Yes, I did. Thanks, 33. Yes, I did, Tecmo. I asked you to come in and listen. Listen. Because you sound dumb. You've got 3 people on a beam that you're saying, let's get this advice from, and not one of them are qualified to give any kind of advice whatsoever. And you look dumb.
So you qualify a woman who is shacking up with a registered nurse as somebody that would have qualifications to speak about mental health or disabilities?
Then they talk about Val. Neva is a nurse. She may or may not be. I asked her to come in here, and if she is, I think she's an RN or an LPN. Give me a BSN on this app, please, and somebody that's actually working. Val, you have to actually hit that again, please. Daisy, I missed you, but you can hit it again. I mean, it was ridiculous. Look, they have all said that Stephen have issues, but yet they don't want to give him a pass and this, that, and another. But yet they put him in the middle of all their nonsense daily.
See, that's what you do, Tecmo. Karen did not say she was in the medical field.
No, I said
Karen
you had
said
people on your scope.
You claimed those people were in the medical field, and we're asking you what their qualifications were. Oh,
yes, that's exactly right. You've got a nutritionist, a dietitian that hasn't had a license in years, and then you've got this Neva woman that, from what I've seen, she's already been discredited on this app by somebody that has a ton of followers, with her lies about her COVID patients in Florida that she didn't have. And yes, Tecmo, that's what you'd say. But just like you, Tecmo, nobody knows that to be fact. You see the difference between like me and Val and Ice Wolf, our histories speak for themselves, and we're working. I am in the legal field, working. I have a license. Y'all know this. Val is a retired sergeant in the NYPD. When she speaks about things, people should probably listen.
Right. Listen. Cricket.
I mean, not put these people up there that like Lynn, who hasn't worked in how many years and doesn't even hold a current license in even nutrition or dietitian, but she gets on Tecmo's beam and she wants to talk about the medical profession. Stephen,
How you
stop letting
doing?
these people drag you around and
Okay, yes, I agree, but I do take responsibility for my actions. But let me explain something, okay? Me and Kathy have been having some issues, and I stood up for her. She thanked me, right? But this is the cause of the issue. I've been blocked by this Don Law, which you probably know who this guy is, right?
Yes.
Um, he has me blocked. She follows him just as well, right? She goes there with a bunch of people in his scopes, and I feel like I should be there as well. Right now, he has me blocked because I was taking screenshots and sending them to this Gons, right? Okay, but besides all that, okay, um, I I went live on Don Line and said, keep my friend Kathy Barker out of your shit, right? She got mad. She told me to go live and apologize. I did. And I said, well, why don't you tell him to unblock me? What's fair is fair. She didn't do it. So then I went live and said, you know what? She used me for clout, for content, and I threatened to dox her number, but I didn't do it. Okay. So then there were some issues. Okay. Now, in order for me to go into Don Lott's Beam, I had to go through the um, Snapchat account. He would have me call in. He would put me in the Beam, right? So yesterday, Rice Krispie JoJo went live, had her calling on, and we talked. Well, obviously today, okay, listen to this. Okay, Kathy came into Rice Krispie JoJo's broadcast when I was in the Beam talking. And Kathy Rice Krispie JoJo knows how I feel about it, right? I mean, everybody should be in his broadcast, right, and all. Well, as I was in JoJo's Beam in Don Lott's broadcast, they were listening, right? Earlier this morning, now Rice Krispie JoJo left the replay up. She only went live, did this one spoke today. Earlier today, Rice Krispie JoJo was given a clip of Kathy and Don Lott's Beam, and we were listening, okay? And because Kathy said something like, I'm no Hitler. Now, Rice Krispie JoJo was like, okay, well, let's back it up. Let's back it up here. What does she mean by saying I'm no Hitler? And I was like, huh? Right? And they were misunderstood. So obviously, there were people that snagged Don Lott's scope and gave it to Rice Krispie JoJo, right? So when I heard that, I said to myself, what? Right? So then, of course, I called in Tamara's scope yesterday. I told her, I said, well, maybe did Kathy use me for content? And Tamara, and then, I mean, not Tamara, Greta, and Greta was like, yeah, she did. I mean, what's fair is fair. She could at least told Don Lott to unblock me. I did her a favor, right? So when we were listening, so in JoJo's scope today, we were listening to what was said in Don Lott's Beam as I was on JoJo's Beam, and I was like, "Gee, this is bizarre. Why would she say something like that?" And Kathy was explaining, not Kathy, JoJo was explaining how I brought the community with the Facebook people and the other people together, and I introduced everybody to each other. And Kathy, I mean, and yeah, it is. And then Rice Krispie JoJo was like, yeah, she could understand why I'm upset.
Stephen, what's your point? What is your point? You're saying that she did it. Look, y'all just need to go your separate ways.
You can watch the replay. All you got to do is watch the replay of JoJo's scope from this morning. That's all you got to do. But the comment that she said was, "I'm no Hitler." I didn't understand it. I mean, what does Kathy mean by saying "I'm no Hitler"? And then when she went live,
I don't either. I don't know, and I don't look. I don't care. I think in all.
I mean, me and Kathy have been friends.
But yeah, I understand. But when you're getting told, don't do this, don't do. Who's one of the biggest doxers on this app? That would be Kathy Barker.
Okay, but listen. Okay, and then today, Kathy went live today, calling Greta, went live on Greta and me, right? And then Kathy threatened to dox my family. Now, when Kathy was live, I called Kathy on the phone, and I didn't care. I said, enough with this shit. And the Kathy was like, don't call me, right? And she was threatening to dox my family. I'm like, damn, this is really crazy. I mean, I'm not trying to get involved in anything because here, 33 gets mad at me because I'm friends with Kathy. And then Kathy gets mad at me because I go to the Greta scope. I mean, I mean, come on. I remember Fly Girl got mad at me for being in Dreamscope and blocked me. But what I'm trying to say is that, okay, she could at least told Don not to unblock me. What's fair is fair. I mean, then she goes into the beam with like 400 or 300 people in his scopes, and then like says what she says.
Okay, but Stephen, did she have an explanation for why she didn't ask him to unblock you?
I don't got no bullshit, 33.
But
Well,
listen, Stephen,
but
that's
she
fine.
said,
I don't
okay,
want to get in, Stephen. I don't want to get into all that nonsense about who blocked and who unblocked who, because
yeah, well, I know
bottom
you can
line
care
is,
less
if
about that.
somebody blocks you, then it's a block and move on. I mean, and
Oh yeah, but yeah.
but
let me
you
explain
have
something. See,
to
me and this.
understand that these people aren't your friends.
Yeah, that's what you
See,
need to understand.
but let me explain something. Okay, let me explain. Okay, she said she was out with her husband. Okay, yeah, she was out with her husband, but she could at least told Don not to unblock me. I don't care if she goes out with her husband. That's her life. I mean, that's her life. She does her own shit, just like everybody else does. But I'm just saying, what's
Okay,
fair is fair.
I understand. Okay,
But to
I'm
say
going to
something
start.
like I'm no Hitler, I don't understand that.
I don't understand that either, and I didn't see it, so I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to Pam for a second,
accept it.
Stephen, and then you
Okay.
can come back up. Okay.
Well, I know what
Okay, Pam.
Karen.
Okay, I have no idea. All I know is if you've got, stop picking on Stephen, stop picking on Tamara, and then turning around out of the other side of your mouth and saying, you can't pick on people that have disabilities, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's what they do every day. That's what they did with Nordic Mike, and I spoke out about it, and now Nordic Mike is all back up in their nonsense again. And it's just, that's what they do every day.
And it's amazing to me, and I'll tell you that too, Nordic Mike. You know, many of us stood up for you when all of those nurses were up there giving their conjecture as to what was wrong with you, and we stood up for you. And yet you have, and that's why I'm upset with you and not coming in your scopes. I come in, I get up in your scope, and then
what's wrong with you, Stakes? Why do you have to have Dummy Techno speak for you? Why are you telling him to call in?
Right. There are protected classes of people, and I've seen a little change in Stephen's behavior, and then he seems to rock back. He just has to learn to accept that these people have blocked him. You know, Don Laud said, I don't want the Facebook people in here, and so I don't go in. You know,
let's see. Stakes has gotten Tecmo to call up for him. That's what Stakes.
Hi guys. Listen, I'd just like to add something. Listen, you know what I find interesting, and maybe they'll answer. It's interesting that Don Stakes was fine with Trump fan is really a David Duke fan, a very big racist. Okay, Allison is friends with and I have receipts with Lynn and the Major 555, a major KKK guy. That'll be coming out soon enough.
Why don't you show it? Why don't you show
Can you
it?
drop it for a minute, please, Karen, and then bring him back?
You can't hush.
Of course. Yeah, no, I'll be quiet. I know
because he can't contain himself. He's low IQ, low impulse control. You know, a primitive trash. And I can't deal with primitive. You are primitive,
go ahead,
man. Listen, shut up, man.
You're still talking. Stop talking, Tecmo. It's 33.
Okay, I can start. I can go and start my own.
Go ahead, do that then. Go ahead.
That's what you do.
No, I understand you like echo chambers. I understand you like echo chambers.
Why is
But
there an echo chamber when you do this?
Go ahead.
We're talking.
Let 33, Karen. Let 33 talk. Go ahead.
We're talking to a fucking video game. Are we seriously having a conversation?
I understand.
With a video game, Tecmo, really?
We're talking to a drug user. We're talking to a drug
Listen,
user.
and that's all you have?
That shows
all you have
to be quiet.
Lot of cocaine. Okay, go ahead, drug user. Go ahead.
I won't dignify this asshole, 33. So let him talk. I'll let him talk first. I have plenty less to say after him. So let the loser talk first. Go ahead. Let's see how much ad hominem bullshit he can sling at me. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Okay.
No, Karen. Karen. You wanted me to come into your scope because I had Neva, who's a nurse, Lynn, who used to be a dietitian. What are your expertise in the medical field?
Okay, I didn't say I had expertise in the medical field.
Okay, well then,
what do you have in all Tecmo?
Let me talk to Tecmo. Wait a minute. I didn't say I had expertise in the medical field.
We're not together.
Listen.
What's that, Mom?
I did
Huh?
not say I had expertise in the medical field,
Okay.
but you
Okay.
put those three idiots on the beam.
Yeah, Neva's a nurse.
Okay,
Neva's a
and
nurse.
you know this how?
Well, she works in a nursing home. I talk to her offline all the time.
Okay, well, because she's been completely discredited on this app by people that
How
have
so?
way
How
more.
so? Explain. How
Because
so?
she
How
lied
so?
about a whole bunch of COVID patients she supposedly had in Florida.
How do you know?
And she
How
was
do you know that?
because I watched
How do you know
what
that?
they put out. That's why.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So that
Okay, now
proves she's a
answer this
liar.
question, Tecma. Why
How
is it
dumb are
okay?
you?
Why is it okay for people to run around and say the N word like Lynn? But yeah,
Lynn's used it
33
twice.
says
Lynn's
it.
used it. Where else has she used it? Can you prove
And
it where else she's used it?
listen to me. I'm from the
I thought that's
South.
what I thought. You can't. You
I'm
can't. You're a liar.
from
Well, you
no.
do understand, Tecmo, that when
You can come back
it
up
came
when you
out
want to
that
listen. Are
Paula
you going to let me
Dean,
talk? Wait a second, Pam.
you
But
you
no,
gonna
because
let me
you only
talk?
like to
words
talk.
Are
You
you
one
don't
going
like to
to
listen.
let
time
me
20
You
talk?
years
like your
ago.
echo chamber.
She lost
Okay.
everything. So how do
Listen,
you justify
I'm
that,
going to
Tecmo?
say that, Pam. Wait, let
I'm
me say this.
confused
I'm
by
going to
that.
say this again. I'm going to say this again to dummy Tecmo. I am from the South. If you say it once or twice, you are a racist. You were raised that way. There is no
Exactly.
way that woman that lives in Tupelo, Mississippi, let that slip out a couple times and doesn't feel that way. She called black people porch monkeys, for God's sake.
And then
So
she
don't
also
come
said
in
in
here and
another
tell
one,
me that she is not racist and that
she
there's,
was
oh my
talking
God, she
about,
only said it a couple times. Anybody
she
in
was,
the South, in the state of Mississippi, that uses that word and calls black people porch monkeys is a full-blown racist. Period.
and in another live, she said she was referring to Black Leo, and she said that she wasn't that y'all couldn't let the monkeys back up on the porch. Are
That's
you
right.
in the
That's
circus?
right.
Are you
And then,
freaking kidding me?
she tried, and then she
I
tried
mean, who
to
the
say
hell talks
that.
like
Then
that
wait a
in
minute,
America?
Pam. Wait a minute, Pam. Then she tried to say it's because we talk about the children being monkeys on the porch. Give me a break. In the South, the word porch monkey means black people, and it is derogatory. And she
Yes,
said it. And if you say it in the South, if you say it one time, you were raised that way, you are a racist, and you were raised in total filth. If you don't know not to say the N word and call people porch monkeys. Now, Neva can run around
Exactly.
this app and say what she wants to, but I live in the South. And where I come from in the South, in many different states in the South, we don't use that word and we don't call black people porch monkeys. That is no class, white trash. Period. Yes, Southern women should know better, and they should be raised better with educated parents that teach them better, because it becomes generational.
Yes. And I just wonder where y'all are.
So shame on you,
know?
Neva, for making an excuse for that. I don't know if you've ever visited the South or even know anything about the South or know anything about how your race, Neva, has been treated in the South and continues to be behind in the South. But for you to sit on any beam with that woman and then criticize someone else for using the N word, you're gross. She's gross.
Exactly.
And she's completely demeaning her entire race. And I'll speak up for that race because I stand for it. And I stand against people using that word, including 33. He knows it. But see, the difference is I can say it and I can be consistent about it.
Right. And not use this bullshit that they're using, which is it depends on which friend of mine is using it. Yeah. Yeah. And how my friend is using it. If my friend says that, it's forgivable. If they said it 2 years ago or they used a derivative of it, oh, well, that's okay. I mean, you all sat there and you listened to Tina using thousands of racial terms earlier today. Oh,
welcome,
hello,
Neva.
That's very nice. Hello.
Nice to meet you. Since you've been on many scopes where my name's been brought up, but nice to meet you.
I don't know you, I don't speak on you. So therefore, you have no reason to speak on me. I don't know you from the man on the moon. I've never spoken on you at all.
Well, what you've done is
Let me explain. You wanted to know why I had anything to say about anything. The only reason I was in that beam was to address 33 who called me nigger. Other than that, I don't care what you guys have going
I
on.
don't even want
I
you.
have
Look, I
no
don't even want
business
you to
with
say
it.
it on my
I
beat.
have no business with any of it. I don't have any business with it. It's none of my concern. You guys' fight is your business.
Right.
I don't
Have
have
you
anything
heard
to do
Lynn
with
say
it.
it? Have you heard Lynn say it?
I don't care about all of that. All
Okay,
I
you only
did,
care if
all I
33
did,
says it.
ma'am, you
Enough
asked
said.
me.
That's enough said. She only cares if 33 says it. Point proven.
Right. Exactly. That's how we work around here. We just care that one person says it. Has she heard Tina say it? Did she hear the words? The words.
How disgraceful.
Any racial
to be
slanderous
to
word,
be a black
racial
woman
slurs.
and say she only cares if it's said by one person and not the other.
Several times, Daisy, not just the N word. She used the WB word in relationship to Mexicans.
Throw her off because she's black.
She used the K word
she's a hypocrite.
in line to the Jewish people. She used so many racial slurs today. I mean, I'm 70 years old, and I don't use that terminology. It's ridiculous.
I wanted to get those points out. I wanted to get Stakes, you're nuts. Nobody threw her off the beam for being black when I'm the only one sitting here standing up for people saying the N word. No matter what side or who you hate, it shouldn't be said, Stakes. But if you cared about racial equality, you would say the same instead of only caring which side says what. You're a hypocrite.
A racist. Because this lady only cares that 33 is
because she only cares if one person says it. She should care if anyone says it.
Exactly. She should care a lot if anyone is using it. And she should find it offensive if anyone uses it, regardless of who they are.
And I'll say this. Find me a BSN, not an RN, not a butt wiper, that can give medical advice on the internet. Not a nutritionist that has not had a license in years and not worked in years. Tecmo, you're dumb.
Dumb. I guess that's the word for the day. Dumb again.
And Stakes, you're a cuck because you send Tecmo up for you.
No, Stakes, you're not a doctor, but somebody calls you Doc. Chico. Oh, Chico. I guess Chico to that. Anyway, I got nothing. There.
So, I mean, Neva can scope and do whatever she wants. She is a hypocrite.
Right.
If she cared about racial equality and her race in and of itself, she would not approve of anybody saying it, and she would care if anybody says it.
And when they said it, and how often they said it. And even if they, I mean, especially when they use the description of quote unquote porch monkeys or quote unquote wetback, quote unquote beaners, quote unquote.
See, and I didn't
what are these other words? I mean, these words just flow from these people's mouths.
These disgusting.
It was disgusting. It was horrible to hear it because it went on for a good I don't know. We can ask Daisy. I mean, it went on for at least 5 minutes. I mean, one shot right after the other. I don't even relate to these words because they weren't words in my vocabulary growing up.
And this is the other thing I want to say.
We fought hard for this equality.
And his little Tecmo cuck ran, and he's a cuck. Until somebody raises their right hand to fight for this country, They have no right to say anything. And states, you can take your moral police and your nonsense and your avatar and just, I mean, it's disgusting. Nobody cares. You're not going to get people to play games on the internet because you want to play some type of moral police and talk out of both sides of your mouth.
We just don't involve ourselves, and we try to stand equally for everything, for all of these racial slurs. We stand.
And yes, and you're not a liar
firm.
either. You didn't serve.
No, you did not serve. Oh my God.
And if you want to prove that avatar that Pat's using is not yours, I guess that proof is upon you.
I can't prove a negative. Sorry. So I can't prove it's not. Okay.
I've heard you say you didn't serve, but you're a liar, so who knows?
Right. True that. Yeah, he is a liar. But then we've also stood for the children, Karen, and we have tried to stay as equal as we possibly can.
Well,
Today,
I'm not for any. Look, I have no moral, ethical, nothing obligation to stand for anything on this app. These people are absolutely disgusting. You've got Lynn. If Lynn killed her dog by not giving it water in 105-degree heat, if that happened, that's gross. Where's everybody's outrage about that?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not even going to bring that up. They're outraged. They're outraged depending upon who commits the crime, I guess, is the way this works here, which I don't understand. If you have a passion, I mean, it's like, how do I explain it?
Hey, Tecmo, you hang out with drug users. You want me to name them on that so-called side you hang out with? Because I can.
Yeah, people that have openly admitted to using drugs.
We don't have to prove it. Tammy Blair's one of them. Mm-hmm. Is it indoor or outdoor stuff she smokes? Mm-hmm. And what kind of pills does she take? You keep naming them, Pam. I mean, really.
People that have admitted that they use drugs?
Mm-hmm.
Controlled substances of some kind? Or illegal substances? Oh, many of them admit to using marijuana, which is not legal in their state, even for medical purposes.
Right. That would be in Mississippi.
That would be in Mississippi. And then tap danced and said once.
Okay, dummy Tecmo. It's not legal in all states. And if you happen to live in one where it's not, like Mississippi, then you don't get to just do an illegal substance. So you're hanging around someone that does illegal drugs.
Right. And it's clearly the law is enforced in that state. There are a lot of pot users, a lot of opioid users.
Yeah, you want to compare marijuana to cocaine? If it's illegal, it's illegal.
Yeah.
A gram of marijuana or a gram of cocaine under the statute in Mississippi, it's the same felony. You dummy. Mm-hmm. I know you had to Google that to even find out it's a crime, dummy.
Right.
Google. Nobody's debating. I'm stating facts because it's the truth. You had to actually Google, and you were all proud of yourself, Tecmo, because you found out that illegal drugs is a felony in a certain amount.
Yeah,
are you that dumb that you had to Google that?
Really? You should know the law. You see,
and
when you get into it,
it's called an illegal substance. In Mississippi, that amount is the same felony as it is somewhere else for cocaine.
Right. Exactly.
There's no separate statute for marijuana or cocaine, idiot Tecmo.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. Well, we've seen your people, Dawn.
I'll discuss it, Snakes. You tell me how I pay $30,000 a year for private school and have a son in college and pay for everything else I pay for, and your stupidity runs rampant.
Do you have proof that she only makes $30,000
No.
a year?
But I
No.
have proof that what they showed is not true.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. We do have proof of that.
You get a loan for private school, idiot. I don't know what private school your kids go to, but you can't get a loan for mine.
No, you can't get a loan.
And by the way, if I had a credit score the way you say, how would I get those loans, you fool? Are you that dumb?
Yeah, the credit score. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I will compare marijuana to cocaine. They are both illegal substances in many states still, you idiot. An illegal drug is an illegal drug, whether it's marijuana or cocaine. You get caught with it in Mississippi, it doesn't matter if it's cocaine or marijuana. That's my comparison. If you think that's not right, you're dumb.
Checkmo, how stupid are you really?
Well, I wouldn't know
when you
can
go,
get them for private school because I pay for mine, Steak. But
right.
you tell
When
them
you
yourself.
go to college and you get a student loan, I mean, you sign a lot of documents. In fact, you have to go to classes where they instruct you as to how the loan is going to be paid back and everything else.
Which is a felony to have. Let me explain to dumb Tecmo. If you're in Mississippi, it doesn't matter if it's the illegal substance of marijuana. I want you to listen closely, Tecmo. It doesn't matter if it's cocaine or marijuana. If it's over the statutory amount, it is possession of illegal substances as a felony. You don't get to stand in front of the court and say it was just marijuana. There is no discrepancy between the two. They are both illegal substances.
Right, as defined by the law. It's the rule of law.
So there's your comparison, dummy.
You look so dumb. I swear. This is why you can't let somebody.
And if you want my personal opinion on it, neither one of them should be legal. Now let the internet explode. I don't believe in any type of drug use, whether it's marijuana, cocaine, or anything.
Absolutely not.
Yes, dummy. What do you not understand about that, dummy?
Can you tell me, because I just looked this up, can you tell me what are the charges compared to marijuana and cocaine possession? Because I'm looking right here. Marijuana is very low.
In which
federally.
state?
Let's just say federally.
Okay.
Marijuana is illegal.
It's too hard to break down by. God, you talk too much. It's too hard to break down by one state. So let's just go.
No, it's not too hard to break down by one state. Because that's what you do. Because unless the DEA is involved and has jurisdiction, idiot.
Cocaine, 92% prosecuted over marijuana. You fucking shit attorney. You are the dumbest attorney ever. You are the dumbest attorney. And yes, I am up here.
I'm not talking about federal law. Okay, we're not talking about federal law because unless the DEA is involved, it's not federal.
Right.
If the county sheriff's department goes into a house in Mississippi right now, it's not going to be the DEA. It's going to be the county sheriff's department, and the laws of Mississippi apply. Dummy Tecmo. Now, Tecmo, if you want to come up, since you think you're so smart, and try or attempt to explain to me when the feds get involved, why don't you find that out first and then realize that state jurisdiction is very important?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Would you like to do that, Tecmo? Would you like to
explain federal
when
jurisdiction
the feds get involved?
Was what we deal with. Every state that has legalized it, either for medical or recreational, would be under the guise of the federal government right now because it's illegal federally.
And federal crimes are involved. But what makes it a federal crime, Tecmo? If you're sitting in your house doing cocaine or marijuana in Mississippi, there's no difference between the two, and federal law does not apply, dummy. So I don't know what else you need to know about that, except Google some more. And when you want to come up here and explain to me, when you Google far enough to realize when federal law applies and state law is set aside, because I can guarantee you state law applies unless there is a reason for the feds to be involved. So why don't you worry about the state where you're trying to research in first? That would be Law School 101, dummy Tecmo.
Okay, I'm not going to speak for Daisy, but I will tell you exactly what I said. And I think this was Daisy's stance as well. Police officers are not required to do a field check of drugs when they pick them up. They stop you on the street and you got all this stuff pouring out of your pockets or whatever.
Wait a minute, Pam. Let me just stop you right there and give this example to Tecmo. They don't call in the feds and they don't use federal law.
No, they don't. They use state law.
When y'all send the cops to 33's house, it's not federal law, Tecmo.
That's why you're not getting any response. Because the state is...
But again, in states like Mississippi and Alabama being one, it doesn't matter if it's cocaine or if it's marijuana. They are all the same. They are an illegal substance under the statute. It doesn't matter if it's methamphetamines. It doesn't matter if it's cocaine. It doesn't matter if it's marijuana. So, see, Tecmo, you have to realize that state law applies first.
Usually.
And I'll go ahead and give you a hint, Tecmo. The only way federal law can apply is if they can move or show that those drugs, those illegal substances have been transported across state lines. Dumb.
Correct. I can't believe how dumb Tecmo is.
I know.
Well, Lynn,
come up here and read me a federal statute.
Yeah, Lynn, let me put on my southern sweet accent. You see, honey child, when somebody shows something over the internet and we could say that we allegedly believe that it was cocaine, we don't know. It could have been a lop. It could have been baking soda. It could have been protein powder. It could have been flour.
That was going to be my next point, Val.
It could have been anything. Nobody knows until it's tested in a lab. Okay, I know you want him so bad to be locked up behind bars and you're trying to set him up.
But no officer, and Val, you know this, no officer is going to go to the door and go get a warrant because Tecmo Googled something on the internet and says that it's cocaine.
And counsel, let me ask you this, because the Don Stakes is saying he admitted it. Even if he admitted it, first of all, we know that 33 lies. Let's just put that out there. No offense, 33, but you're known to lie. But these people think they have this big case against him because of what he's shown.
It's comical.
We got all these Perry police out here and all these Perry lawyers that have no idea. It's comical, exactly.
I mean, when I saw that scope where Tecmo Googled and he started reading the statute and he went, oh my God, it's a felony. Cocaine possession. And then he comes up here and he's going to read the federal statute. First of all, if 33 is in Arizona, you might want to try Arizona law first before you go calling the cops. But second of all,
Misty, why you got your hand over your head? What's the matter? You know for fact that it was actual drugs. You were in the house with him.
Did you sell it to him?
You tested it? No. You tested it.
And see, but
and matter of fact, I told
thing that's
30.
called...
Just so you know, 33. She did not call the cops on you, and I sent him a message. I told him that, but I don't know why she's shaking her head because somebody says something. Listen, this is Periscope. Do people forget that this is an app? Do people forget that?
Right. Well, people like Lynn forget it.
Well, a lot of people, Misty, say they're decent people like you, like a Christian, and yet you saw to it that the reputation of my grandchildren was destroyed by doing something. So You know what, Misty? Let me hold yours, ladies. So, Misty, fuck off. You know, I mean, he could have said it was whatever he wanted to say, it was. Do you understand?
And
no
that
one was
doesn't
in
make
that
it
house
a crime.
testing
And
it.
thank God.
No one.
Val,
no one.
And just because 33 says it is, he could come out with all his gold jewelry and say that it's all gold jewelry, and we know it could be plastic. I mean, are you guys that like naive? This is
they aren't that.
Exactly.
Well, they're not that naive. They think that people that are watching that actually have an education and have actually been in the real world can't pick up on this stupidity.
Yep. And the people that were calling the cops on him, first of all, you're putting law enforcement in danger. Nobody is worried about 33. So don't bullshit and say, oh, we're worried about his mental health. We're worried about his. You're not worried about him. You wanted to call to try to get him in trouble. First of all, they would need a search warrant to get into his house. They're not going to take somebody's word for it over the internet, even if you show the police the video and say,
they're
look,
still not
this
going to
is
go
what
get
it
a
is.
search
They
warrant.
still
No.
no judge would sign off on a search warrant on that. No
But that's
judge.
how dumb they are.
No.
And you've got Lynn saying that felon. Listen to this comment. I saw this.
Yeah, look.
She said,
look at this comment. Are you saying 33 is going to shoot the cops? Look how stupid these people are.
Yes, that's not what you said.
No,
She
they're
said
not coming
felons,
with a bench warrant for him or any warrant whatsoever to enter his home, because even if they looked at the video, they have no idea what that was, where it was, or anything else. And you know what? Secondly, because they know they can't prove a negative. Fact is, they could go rushing into his house. They could find a lump of sugar on his counter and say, okay, we're taking him on this lump that weighs less than 1 gram. And out the door they go with him. And then how stupid do they look? This is exactly why the police did not move.
They'll all get fired for costing the
You know
county
how many times things came back from the lab and like another drug dealer lopped another drug dealer and gave him something that wasn't drugs?
It happens all the time.
Many times. Many times. I know.
But could we address this guy, Nicolo, whatever he is?
Yeah,
Nikolai.
He can come up too.
Who is this really Nikolai? He's the guy with the accent.
Tecmo calls this an echo chamber, but when he does a scope, his is not an echo chamber. That's how
Don is king.
It wasn't an echo chamber when he claimed the 3 women up on his beam were experts, and he was going to have them give him advice as to the mental illness that was in his view. I mean,
hold on, stand by, dum dum.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm not saying that 33, but you know what? 33 could be dangerous to the cops, and just like the cops could be dangerous to him, and just like the cops are on their way over there, God forbid they get into a car accident. You people are just nosy, wannabe fucking law enforcement and lawyers.
So, anyways, I think you guys misunderstood me. I said the prosecution rate nationally. It's kind of hard to break it down each state, but I know you guys don't listen very well. But anyways,
no, what I know, dumb, is you're Googling federal statutes.
Go ahead.
That's what I know.
Go ahead. Yeah, I know. I was looking at the prosecution rate.
You're Googling federal statutes and calling the police and doing nonsense.
I have never called the police on 33, and I did not agree with that. And I said, I hope 33 gets help and he doesn't go to jail. That's what I said. But you guys all love to talk and say shit because you love your little echo chamber. Now, do you want the stats? Do you want the stats? Do you want the stats or not? Do you want the stats? Do you want the facts?
No. Because in 2004, federal prosecutions for? What do I need stats about federal prosecutions for? That's irrelevant to anything we're discussing.
Well, no, you were literally saying that people get prosecuted for marijuana. I'm giving you how many people get prosecuted for marijuana.
I'm talking about state laws where marijuana is not legal.
God, and that's not what I'm talking about. I literally said I'm not talking about that. I said the prosecution rate.
So that's what we're talking about. So what you're talking about is irrelevant.
No, it's not, because you asked me compared to marijuana. It's okay. I know you're so stupid.
In states like Alabama and Mississippi, it does not matter what the illegal substance is, you dummy.
Exactly. But do you really think?
Okay. Maybe he gets it now. I don't know.
Every state is different. Every state has different statutes on drugs. Do you realize
And
that?
if he wants to come back up here and explain to me, who's done this for over 20 years and understands why state law applies, not federal law, and I don't care about the prosecutions of marijuana federally. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Nothing. Because in some states, it is still illegal. That's what I was talking about.
Yep. I know what you meant, but you know what? The slow people don't get it. They don't understand. So you have to repeat yourself 100 times. Pam, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just breathing.
I think you left Pam
trying to breathe. I just can't. I can't because even if you leave
we
California,
want Nicolette the Great that has a lot to say about all of us. Would you please come up, please? Could you please come up and tell me why the Arizona law and what happened with 33 is even relevant? Because the cops went to his house and did nothing.
I've seen people drinking beer. I can't testify that Corona bottle has beer in it. It could be cream soda, as far as I
could be.
I
yes,
know,
exactly.
or sparkling cider.
Yep.
I don't know what's in that bottle. I really don't. And to say that I saw it and I did it and whatever, no police officer is even going to testify. I mean, open container, whatever. I mean, in every state, I learned that from Karen the other day. She was talking about some state, your state, right? Where you can go in and listen to this, Daisy. You can actually go in a gas station in Alabama and buy 1 can of beer.
Yes.
Now in California, Arizona, other states, you can't do that because that's considered an open container at that point. Once it comes off the 6-pack is a.
Oh, really? No, in New York you could buy one. In New York,
really?
Yeah, in a lot of states. I was telling Pam
not
that
a 12,
in a lot of states
right?
you can buy
not
one.
a 40. You can buy a 12.
Oh, you mean, well, you could buy a 40 ounce. You could buy
right.
There's some stores that do it.
But
they're probably not
but you can't buy one from a 6-pack.
One out of the 6-pack, one out
right,
of the 12-pack.
Right. Then that's considered an open container. So, I mean, I was like, what? Yeah, I mean, you go in, they open up an 18-count box of bottles and they throw it in an ice chest and you can buy one. I was like, what? That's
most
open container
now. Most of the bodegas let you get away with it if you want to buy like 1 or 2.
Right.
It's crazy. I mean, in some states, like when I was in Nevada, you actually had to buy your liquor at the bar. And we wanted 2 6-packs, and she only had one that was sealed, right? Mm-hmm. And we couldn't buy the other, even though she could put it together because it was not sealed in its container. If we walked out of the bar with it open, it was open container at that point. Right. And the laws are very strange, and they vary from state to state.
But
and
here
I know
you
that
can
Tecmo is Googling all of this right now.
But here you can pour, as long as it's poured in a styrofoam cup, it's not an open container.
Yeah, there was actually a bar here where you could get it from a styrofoam cup. It's,
you can get it here too. Like if you leave a bar and you want to take your beer with you, you can just pour it in a styrofoam container, and it's not an open container.
God. Oh, good God.
Well, let me just ask somebody, that I'm up here now. Like, what is the point? What do they want to do to 33? Do they want to push this guy like over the edge?
Yes.
Like, do they want to make him?
Yeah.
I mean,
yes, he is their current target. He is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he's their current target.
And they didn't get their shunning way. They tried to shun him.
Right.
That failed. Remember that whole
the hashtag 33. Yeah, block 33.
And listen, and I'll say it, there's things that he says that are absolutely vile and disgusting.
Right.
Yes.
But you got to remember Don Stake's rule that if somebody says something at you first, you have the right to say it back. But I don't agree with any of it. I think it's
and that's what I've always said. But see, the difference, Val, is we can say that just like I was saying with the N-word.
Wait a minute, Misty. How do you know that none of us are getting him help? Excuse me, bitch. How do you know that none of us are helping him? How do you know that none of us are getting help? Do you remember where he came from? He came from over there. And those people did not a one damn thing for him. He has said a number of times on his live that his friend has been talking to him. He has other friends that are talking to him. So stop this crap of saying we're not doing anything for him. Do you think we are dumb like you people and we do not see that something has happened and we are trying to get through this
Make
with him.
excuses for him, please, Misty. Nobody's making excuses for anybody.
Nobody is making any excuse at all.
Stupid Tecmo and that whole scope was with the outrage, and all of y'all's outrage is dumb. It's all stupid.
It's all fake. And you know what, Tecmo? I did say that publicly, and I'll say it again. Anybody, speaking of anybody's deceased relatives, is disgusting. Okay?
Yes, it is.
How many times you got to say it?
Yes,
right. But at this point, and I'll say this, and he can be as mad as he wants to. I don't care what anybody says about
really, Misty? Misty, aren't you upset?
Wait, Misty. I don't care.
Misty, hold on, bitch. Aren't you upset that the Turners did a video about Anitra's dead stepfather? Aren't you upset about that? Didn't you go all hair-raising mad on here about that?
Yeah, but Tina can say whatever she wants. This makes no sense.
When are you going to step up to the plate, Misty, and say something about my grandson's father,
Misty,
who died at 33 years old from ALS, Lou
Misty,
Gehrig,
why don't you
and
call
suffered
up?
for 2 damn years being connected to machines, bitch? When are you going to say something about that? See, you sit back and you keep your fucking mouth going, and you people are doing this and you people are doing that. But that was a 10-year-old boy that lost his father, and you let that
say this, and I want to say this now, and I'll say it.
With his father's picture and his something that he has said.
Let me say it, Pam. You had Cropper put out, and this hadn't even been discussed because it's being dealt
it hasn't.
With. But Cropper put out Misty. Cropper put out a 10-year-old little boy's deceased father's picture,
and called him a pedophile.
He was all cute about it.
Oh wow!
And what did that little boy ever do to Cropper? So, Misty, take your fake outrage and go somewhere else with it. Because you sound dumb. Y'all all sound dumb.
I'm not the one causing the drama, Misty. It seems like you all sitting over there wanted to cause the drama for a kid. And let me tell you something. 10 years old. 10 years old. I have nothing to do with Anitra's stepfather. Nothing. No. That was the Turners. And today, your little girlfriend, Shauna, was up on the beam yelling about Pat. Pat saying he was going to release Allie's photos. And, you're all so dramatic over that. And
wait, they loved Pat when he went after me. They loved Pat when he went after me. He was a patriot, they did. Remember?
Yes, they did.
He was a patriot when he was going after my grandchildren, right? He was a patriot when he was going after Karen's daughter. He was a patriot when he was going after Karen and me. He was a patriot. Applaud him, right? They had no outrage about Cropper and Shauna going after our Christina's children's father.
Nope.
And his PTSD.
And that was way before the Turners did that.
And making him a 22. No, see, this is the way you people are. You think, it's okay because NJ and Justin did that. There you go. Yeah. You will defend all of them. That's the problem, Misty. You cannot defend one. And I will tell you this right now, and Daisy's up here, and she will say it. I have never done anything but defended her brother.
Again. I would like for Misty to call up because Misty has said and lied a lot. She lied
really?
On that video
my shit?
With Kathy
What
Barker.
Is my shit, Misty? What is my
shit,
isn't
about
Misty?
You
Calling
right now.
You liars out, telling you people the truth about yourselves and what you have done. The other day, one of you said I had called the CPS. I had called CPS on Blair's.
That was a lie, Misty. I want Misty. Wait, Pam. I want Misty to come up here and explain why she lied and said that. Because it's not about you right now. Stakes is why you're not coming up. We're talking to Misty. Try again.
It's okay, baby girl.
So, not Misty, you. I'm waiting for you to call up and say why you lied like that.
Yeah, you lied about me, Misty. Why'd you do that? Trying to start drama?
Why'd you lie like that, Misty? What did you lie about? You said that Pam called CPS on Blair And you lied.
Yes, she did.
Look at this Nikolai, like he knows everything.
I know. It's hilarious.
Okay, first of all, maybe in Russia it's not, but CPS is not the authorities, and Pam did not call CPS on Blair.
Or anyone, actually.
Like this Nikolai has been around for the last.
I mean, he's an idiot.
You said I called to report child abuse. That's what you said. We know what you said, Misty. We got it, darling.
Yes, you said that she called to report child abuse, and that is not what happened, Misty.
Mm-hmm. I didn't call the police.
She didn't call and
about
even talk about
the slap,
Misty.
Well, I did talk. Remember, I did explain to him that that Mrs. Blair had admitted to the deputy that she had popped the child.
Remember, the cops came the night before, and Blair told the cops that. Remember that, Misty?
I'll be back.
Using my name. Remember that, Misty? Saying I was the one that had called CPS on her. I was the one that had called on her
Misty,
husband's
you're not that
job.
dumb. Misty, you are not that dumb. The police came to Blair's house, and Blair told the police and used Pam's name and told the police that Pam did these things, and Pam called the police and told the police, no, she didn't. Do you understand, Misty? Blair lied to the officer.
Do you remember it, Misty? And she says to the deputy, I'm going in right now and delete this app. And she came back into her house, and then she doxed 4 people. She doxed their addresses, their phone numbers, everything. I explained to him that she had told his deputy that she did indeed pop the child.
And that's not how CPS went to Blair's house. CPS went to Blair's house because Tracy called them. And why don't you admit the truth, Misty? Because you know the truth. I've never called CPS on the Turners, ever. Ever.
Nope.
I returned a phone call from a department worker that called me because NJ put me on the list as a person to call for her. I returned a call, Tecmo.
You said, Misty, the reason I called her police department was to report that she had slapped her child.
That is not wait. I'm going to talk to dummy Tecmo. You don't think that's the truth? That truth has been put out. The caseworker called me because I was put as a reference by the Turners, and I called the caseworker back. Is the phone call you heard, idiot? I have never called CPS on anybody on this app, nor would I, and have always been against it, and Blair has even said so.
Oh my God, Nikolai, you are really dumb. The call you have is the follow-up call.
The call you have is when I called her back, you freaking moron. Where she called me because I was put as a reference. I have never called CPS on anybody ever in my life. Ever.
Well, the same reason, Misty, I told him.
Wait, Go ahead. Pam. I want everybody to understand this. But when Blair decided to lie, when all these people decided to lie, you know what I was told? Ethically, what I was told, well, gosh, you should have. I'm not a mandated reporter, and that's what I told them. I fight that department every day, and I'm proud I fight that department every day. And I don't call CPS on people. NJ's decision to put me down as a reference on that was NJ's decision. That worker called me, and I called the worker back. You idiot.
See, they only have half facts. They love clinging to this little bit. They love clinging to this, what sounds like a lie, Tecmo.
Hey, Tecmo, if you paid attention,
MJ's
already put out the report where my name was listed as a reference.
Right. And the phone call back to the caseworker. Right. And anything that Karen said was her opinion at that point.
And y'all weren't around when I put the phone call out where I called Blair's caseworker because Blair was running around the internet saying I did it. And I put the phone call out myself, telling her to please document the file that I did not do that, nor would I do that. And she said, we know you didn't do it. That phone call's been put out too, but y'all weren't around.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And my phone call to the captain did not even start an investigation or sending anything to CPS. What began that was already the paperwork that had been turned in was already sent to CPS.
So anyway, I don't even.
And there was, and the police said there were no criminal charges.
Dumb, and you had never come in here and say she only cares about the N word being said when 33 says it. When she sits with Lynn, who says it, and is from the South, should definitely know better. And for a black woman to say that she cares if somebody said it and somebody didn't say it, look, you shouldn't say it at all. Nobody should be on here running around saying the N-word. Nobody should be running around on here using Jewish, calling people that nasty word. Nobody should be doing any of that. It doesn't, but see what the cult of sex does is who you like and who you don't like and what's appropriate then and what's not appropriate now.
Well, and Nikolai, you can do what you want, however you want, and say, I have this phone call and I've put it up. What you're not showing is the phone call that Mrs. Blair made to the police department, then was transferred to the sheriff's department and requested an officer come to her house. And when the officer was there, when the deputy was there, that whole conversation, she lied about me and said that I had called her husband's
Why don't you put that one before it, and it would make a lot more sense.
And prior to that, she popped a child, as she claimed, and she told the deputy that. It was up to the deputy at that moment to make that choice. And that was the discussion on that phone call.
And Blair knows the whole time I was saying, I don't know what she popped, her face, her leg, or whatever. It's none of my business.
Right.
There's adults that live in that house that are also responsible for those children. It's none of my business. That has always been my stance, Mr. Russian idiot.
And no one made a phone call to CPS regarding that pop. It was Tracy Fletcher, Eric, whatever the hell her name is, that made that call. She wrote it into a message. She had that discussion on the phone with people, and she did it. And she made that call to CPS to turn her in. And that very morning she made that call, they were at her house.
I want to say something. Tecmo, come back up and tell me why Val is a horrible cop. What do you have firsthand knowledge of about Val being a horrible cop?
No, it's amazing how you're trying to gaslight everything, Nikolai.
Yeah, and you've got Tecmo. I mean, how could he even form an opinion that she's a horrible cop when he doesn't even have any firsthand knowledge of what her career was or what she did on the force ever?
Right. Do you have documentation?
He's making that dumb blanket statement to gaslight other people and look dumb.
Right. Where's your documentation? Where's the documentation? You have none.
Because what we do know is facts, and I'll say it again, and was the reason for my scope, is the only people that I'm aware of on this app that have any law enforcement experience would be Daisy and Ice Wolf. So therefore, if you're looking for an expert in that field, you should probably ask Daisy or Ice Wolf. Because they're the only two that have actually worked, retired, and done that job. And Val did it very well and made it all the way to sergeant, which is not an easy task in the NYPD. Now, if you want a medical opinion, find somebody that's not an RN or went to some technical college. Find a BSN that's actually working.
Cabbage Boy,
I can guarantee you.
I called the police on you too.
What?
Sorry, Karen. Nothing.
Yeah, it's especially as a woman, Val. It's not easy, and and then I've got some idiot in here trying to quote federal law to me when I'm talking about illegal substances, and I've only been a criminal defense attorney for over 20 years and been a prosecutor.
Mm-hmm.
Now run off and try to find out where I've been a prosecutor, because Lynn couldn't find it, and I don't have to tell you.
Well, Nikolai, you're going to get a lot of people doxxed by your stupidity, okay? Because we're going to put out all of their information,
and
all
see,
of their credibility, all of their incredibility. Mm-hmm. I know, Karen. Don't listen to me.
If it's fake rule, if it's an eye for an eye, then why should I care? Why do I care?
Right, because
I don't care.
We have the original.
I have handled what I have had to handle on this app. It's Georgia, Ohio, Texas, and Mississippi. If anybody has any questions about that, I'm not answering them. But I know that Lynn wants to get on here and say nothing can be done. It can be done.
Blurry. Threatening people? No, because see, we have paperwork. We have paperwork that shows their names, their addresses. It's all there. See, where were you, Nikolai, when Tina was putting out my address and my phone number and Nellie's address and phone number? Look, where were you, Nikolai? How come you're not standing up? How come you're not chasing after Tina for doxing people and threatening people?
Because he's got to sit
What's wrong
with
you, Nikolai?
Oh,
Nikolai. Mm-hmm.
All the way from Russia, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't really care
where
he is.
You know what?
Because
really, Nikolai? Well, you're allowing someone to do that to other people. You're just sitting there applauding Tina for doing it. So congratulations, you're nasty. Okay, we've covered that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I mean, anybody that literally believes they can sit on any type of social media app and believe a dietitian that hasn't had a license in years, hasn't worked in years, diagnosing people and saying she has all these credentials is just nonsense. But when Daisy speaks as ex-law enforcement for the NYPD, that means she knows what she's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I checked, a dietitian doesn't really have that much medical experience. And regulatory issues means that she sat around a table. And apparently didn't do that very well, because she's still doing it now. She wants to ask why Gretel isn't working. Why isn't she working? She can't even go sit in an office where her family business is. Why isn't she working? So
Lynn needs to stick to putting Jell-O cups on trays. I mean, that's her primary job. Salt or no salt. Low salt, no salt.
Well, apparently she couldn't do that very well.
No sugar.
She doesn't even still hold the license.
Right. Exactly.
So it is what it is. Right, Gretel, you are. And, Shauna's disgusting. Shauna has gone after Tamara for years.
Thank you, baby girl. Oh, yes. And thank you, Gretel, for making that clear, perfectly clear, that you are deemed that by the courts. That gives you, from this date forward, I guess, a new hope. People have been
with them. It only works when Lynn wants to say it when it's to her benefit. Mm-hmm. But then she turns right around the next day and does something just the opposite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, Nikolai, Cropper, Cabbage Boy. See, you can't really get through this with all of this lying and stuff. You're doing this thing of trying to gaslight and get all kinds of hate on Karen and I. You couldn't do it on your YouTube channel because the FBI moved in. Well, we've already informed them of this name that you're using now and that information. So thank you very much. Well, you should thank Judy for admitting, for, inserting who you were. So
Judy
we clearly
talks a lot.
She does. She does. So now that Judy has outed him as using this name, then it's very simple, you see, because then I just call the FBI agent and say, here's the new name that he is using.
Misty, Tamara and Pam have already discussed that. It's not your business. So what are you trying to say? Hey, Misty, where were you when Cropper was showing the obit of my children's father? So really, get out of here with your fake outrage.
There was an obituary. There was no obituary for the man that she was involved with. It was Kathy Bailey that contacted me and asked me if I would look for an obituary. I was very busy. I spent like 20 minutes. I said the only two I found.
Misty, I'd like for her to come up here, but you're just stirring nonsense in the comments because you have nothing else to do? Because Tamara and Pam are getting along, you have to come in and divert and try to point fingers.
Tamara knows that. No, Tamara knows that I did. I've explained this a million times. I went and looked for the obit. There was none because every city, I said, I don't even know where this guy died. I don't know where he lived. How am I supposed to find an
Misty,
obit?
Why don't you hop
I said the
up
only
here?
obit I found.
Just stop it. Misty can hop up here and tell us why her and Karen Groomer looked up all that information for years for the Turners. Hop up here, Misty, and tell us that. Because you want to point fingers because you're in those chats, and I have them all now, of everything that y'all did for years.
Oh,
especially
here's
Karen
one.
Grummer, but Misty, you were right there beside her. So don't.
Yeah. How about this
fingers.
one? How about this one? How about when Karen Grummer doxed firefighter, and y'all tried to tell him it was me? How about that one? And then it was Tracy who was putting out the Avery Lee account.
Yes,
and
Pam
actually
just
showed
said that publicly. So what's your point? Again, you're in here just stirring nonsense.
I said I went to Facebook to look up and see if he had one. Yeah. Yeah, and Missy, Christina, our Christina, she would like to know where your outrage is about Cropper telling her to dig up her ex-husband. Where's your outrage for that?
Right.
Where is your outrage, Misty? Where is your outrage?
Hey.
Is it
Karen?
Is it in a bottle?
Yes.
Is it in a pill?
Tamara?
Is it in your gun closet? Where is your
Tamara,
outrage, Misty?
they wanted some content, so I thought I would give it to them and tell them how dumb Tecmo is.
I'm sorry.
Karen, I'm going to send you, Karen or Pam, because I trust both of you. I'm going to send you guys Steve's brother's account on Facebook, and you guys can text him and just be like, hey, I'm
Oh, there's no need to do
wait
that,
a minute,
Tamara. No. I was on the phone with you when he was there, and I spoke with him.
But I want to tell Nikolai something. Did you not hear me, Val, Pam, all three said? We don't agree with it, but we have no outrage. You see, we can call it out on both sides. That's where Nikolai the Great, that's where Tecmo, that's where Stakes, that's where Lynn, that's what they can't do. You got Misty in here trying to point fingers directly at somebody when she needs to look in the mirror and point them at herself and at her best buddy Cropper.
Right. She's got her buddy in here with her.
Hey, do you guys remember when Cropper told all of us that he has a side job where he does voiceovers?
Yes.
All right. Who do you think Nikolai is?
Cropper.
I don't know.
Judy admitted it. Judy called him Cropper.
Yeah.
Judy knew it was him. They all knew it.
Judy called him Cropper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crap turd, The crap turd with PSD from cabbage. being thrown at his head. And if I ever see Cropper in Ohio, I'm going to throw nice, warm, not hot, cooked red cabbage at his head.
Ooh. Okay, that a girl.
I'm not going to violate him. I'm not going to hurt him. But yeah, it is Cropper, Misty. Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is Cropper. And you know what?
I don't know. That would be for Judy to say why she called him Cropper. I don't know. Yeah. I have no idea, nor do I care. I don't care who any of these people are.
Oh, Nikolai, it's not hard to go on a beam when you have two different devices. No, I've done it before. Not. When I had two devices back in the day, I went on beams and was two different people. Well, it's easy for him to go. Well, Cropper is live right now. He's also in here. He has two different devices. Misty.
Wait a minute. Misty, this is how dumb you sound. See, I can say the Turners have said vile things. I can say that to the Turners. I can say that Cropper is gross and he is more vile than the Turners. But see, the difference between me and you, Misty, is you can't say that. You have to sit under Cropper's wing and do what he says. That's on you, Misty.
See, Judy can't keep any secrets.
Nikolai, go on Cropper's beam. It's fine. Because Cropper, you have two different devices. You can talk to yourself. You probably do it all the time anyhow, Cropper. Because you have nobody else. You don't even have your family. Nobody likes you. You probably talk to yourself all the time.
Really?
And probably in different voices, too, to pretend like you actually do have friends. I mean...
say whatever you want to Cropper, but you haven't talked to me about it.
Nikolai, hold on. Nikolai, I have been on a beam with people in the past and used two different devices and made my voice sound different. Yes, I was with two different accounts.
Who it is? Who cares who it is?
No, it's Cropper.
No, Gretel, I don't want any information on Steve because
no, I want you to contact his brother and find out that he was real.
Because Misty, if you disagree with it so much, you never said a word to me, Misty, but I've seen you in comments all over the place, just like you lied on Pam. You're gaslighting all those lies. And you know you are, Misty. You went from one side to the other and doing the same gross, vile, disgusting things that you did in inboxes with the Turners. You're doing it over there with Cropper. I'm not saying you're in inboxes. I'm saying you are agreeing with him. See, the difference is I can say, I don't agree with 33 saying the N-word. I can say it publicly. And 33 is still going to talk to me. But see, if you did that to Cropper, he wouldn't speak to you again. If you didn't lie for him and push out his narrative, he wouldn't talk to you anymore.
Misty, why don't you just call up and talk to Karen? I mean, Scope's
because she knows she has lied.
Scope's going to be ending. Just come up and talk it out. It's gonna hurt.
I really don't want to talk to Miss Gretel. I mean, I really don't. I mean, I think she's gross.
Well, I think she's got me blocked along with all of her other followers, or not followers, the people she follows.
Her outrage is fake. I think her
she unblocked me and now she's blocked me.
Are hypocrites, and I think that they ran to Cropper because they didn't have anywhere else to go.
Cropper knows what we don't like. What do you mean we? Are you in a fucking cult?
Come up here and tell us what you don't
like. Are you in a
Cropper?
cult, Misty? I don't have to lie for Cropper. I don't have to take up for Cropper. Cropper knows what we don't like.
Right. Who's she speaking for?
Oh my God. That sounds like Lynn.
Everybody that's in that inbox.
That sounds like Lynn. Every time she's in, her scopes, she's always saying we do this, we do that. What do you mean, Misty?
I tried to talk to you, and you sat there and couldn't even speak when I came up on your beam because you knew everything they were saying were lies. You knew it.
Every time someone says that, I crack up, though. Cropper knows what we don't like. Who's we? You got a mouse in your pocket, Misty? Who's we? Are you talking for a whole group? Can't talk for yourself, Misty? Really, you cannot talk.
And it's not rocket science. The only reason Steak's cuddled up to Cropper is because he knows Cropper doesn't like me all of a sudden. And then that's what they do. The hypocrisy is real. Cropper's nasty. Cropper's gross. Cropper's vile. And then if Cropper doesn't like me or doesn't like Pam, then guess what?
Oh, exactly. I mean, remember when NJ was talking about going after you? And they loved NJ, and then when NJ got boring, and you and NJ made it, now they have to go after. Now they got rid of NJ and anybody who's friends with NJ, and now they're friends with Cropper. I said that a week ago. They got bored. They got bored with us, and they had to switch it up.
Thank you so much, and Tecmo. Thank you so much for the scope. Hey, dummy, thank you for proving how dumb you are. Go Google some more federal law and act like y'all are actually caring about somebody.
And when you did that,
Tecmo, if you cared about 33 and wanted to quote unquote get him help, then you wouldn't have done that scope. So get out of here with your nonsense.
And Tecmo, by the way, did you Google how the federal government is handling the states that have legalized marijuana? Recreation and for medical. You probably need to Google that right now.
No, that would go a little bit past his comprehension skills.
Okay, never mind. I'm going to put snow over my snowman here. Never mind.
He couldn't even tell me how it becomes federal. That's Googling federal law.
All right, I'm going to drop down, ladies. But Pam, I'm glad that you do know that I'm telling the truth about that person and Steve, and I'm glad that we were able.
Your heart to take back what you have said to our Christina as well, and I hope you can address that because she's not the person that you've tried to depict her as being, and that's my stand on that.
I mean, yeah, it's disgusting. I mean, Misty, I'm sorry, but you just are disgusting. You said over there,
illicit behavior by
whom? know what Cropper and Tracy were involved in with NJ's sister living down the street. You know what they were doing. Mm-hmm. You didn't just leave. You went and jumped in bed with the people that were doing that.
So, Cray, you are condoning the illicit behavior of looking at bestiality on Periscope?
Okay, and I will say this. I saw that. Anybody in their right mind that clicked on that, do I agree with 33 re-showing it? No. But Kathy Barker should be ashamed of herself. She's the one that put it out. She's the one that clicked on it. It's gross. It's nasty and disgusting.
It was her life.
Talk about morality. I can assure you I've never clicked on any type of bestiality like that. Nor have I sat in a vehicle with someone that's not my husband and gone to the casino and ran around and done all that nonsense either. So let's talk about morals. Look at Cray. Cray just wants to be relevant. Cray, you have bounced.
She has why don't you go call the police some more? People. No. Wait a minute. Please, Cray. The person.
Wait, no. I have a question. Wait, Pam. I have a question for Cray.
Oh my God.
Remember Cray? I actually felt sorry for you for half a second. Remember, because I understand you're going through a divorce. That's sad, and I'm sorry. However, you sat and cried on a Periscope that was sent to me about how you needed legal representation after you had been out on this app saying that you had what was it, Pam? A cousin that was a lawyer that was actually watching me. So my question to you is, why didn't you call your cousin?
And another cousin that's a CHP officer.
Yeah, why didn't you get your family to help you instead of whining about it on the internet? And saying you needed $100.
There's that. There is that. There is that. There is that. And yes, if I had somebody right here sitting next to me and they were pulling up all kinds of, what's that word you use? Illicit? Yeah. Porn and showing it, do you think I would put my phone over there to be showing it on Periscope, where I do not and cannot verify the age of anybody that is in my scope or watching my scope outside of my scope on Periscope TV? No. You see, here's the problem. That's my problem. What 90% of what is done here never has any regard that there's an underage person or a person that has special needs or anything else that probably should not be hearing, let alone seeing what is being put out here.
Well, I don't even have, that's not even, look, my issue, what grown woman that holds herself out to be married and with all these high moral standards goes around and then shows that on a social media public platform like it's nothing while she's sitting in the car with someone she's not married to. And then and then she doesn't even, it's replayed and it's like, oh, that's nothing. No, that is something. If we want to talk about morals.
Right. And if you guys don't think that Nikolai is Crawford, then why don't you call Judy up for saying that it was him and letting the cat out of the bag? Ooh.
I already said I don't care who it is.
I don't either, really.
These people are irrelevant. Yeah. I told you the things I'm dealing with.
And the things I'm dealing with. I'm getting tired of it. But it is what it is. And I know that, I'll conduct myself that way. Because, trying to extort silence from people by showing a child's dead father. It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, a minor child. Yeah.
Okay, and Karen Groomer, we already went through this. Nobody cares if he's on Cropper's beam. That's their opinion, and I really don't care who he is. I think he's gross. I think y'all run around with him and gaslight others with him, and y'all are disgusting.
And you condone his behavior. You condone all of his behavior because you keep applauding and cheerleading it on. And
Hey, let me say it again. Karen Grummer.
I do not agree.
Nobody cares where he is.
No one cares. No one cares. No.
Right, and I think you're disgusting. I think you spent your time in Pensacola to be away from your husband. I thought you lived there.
Right.
Again, Tecmo, the prosecution rate nationally has nothing to do with state laws with regard to illegal substances being cocaine or marijuana.
Good thing.
Right. Okay. If you don't care, go away, liar, because Karen Grummer, you are a liar. No, I blocked that person, Misty.
She was blocked a while ago.
I blocked that person, Misty.
See, Misty, this is what you do. You like to inflame drama. And you just said that, and she was removed. She was removed earlier when she said she was 17. She was removed. Oh, but you can speak about it, right?
Right, and she can sit with Cropper, who does that to your grandchild. Who, by the way, Misty, do you know that child has had severe depression issues based on the death of his father, but yet Cropper does that? You hit the live button and you say that's bad to a child. And I don't want to hear we say it to him privately. Because I also know that's a lie, because when I said I'm not going to lie to you privately, look what he did to me.
Right. Fix it, Karen. You fix it. You fix it, Karen. You fix it. I guess we couldn't fix it.
No, I'm not ridiculous. I'm not the one sitting with anybody that's putting out pictures of a child's deceased father. Misty, that's you.
Yep. Right there. Right there.
She's always lurking.
Right. And not only just the photo, right? But cheering on the song he was playing as he bounced his father's photo around. Do you remember the name of that song? It was the song that the Ohio pedophiles did, right?
Yes. But I guess
and
he
that
can
was
do
funny.
that.
It was funny.
He can do that because
and to show
wait,
what
let
this
me get this right,
child
Kim.
had said about his
He can
father.
do that and not be gross, disgusting, and vile, because the Turners did a video about Anitra's father. Is that right?
Yes.
Which, by the way, Misty, I didn't even see. I wasn't in there.
Right. Well, that's true. And I left at some point. I was speechless. And there are a lot of things that the Turners have done that are speechless. They know it. We agree on it.
Yeah, and the difference is they'll say it. They will say it.
Yep, they will. Yep, they do. They acknowledge it, and there are other scopes that they do that are funnier than funny, and they make me laugh. And they do make me laugh. But not when it comes to the children. That stuff isn't laughable. And it's certainly not laughable.
You sat with a group of people that came out on a social media app and accused me, Pam, and Matt, and others of causing someone to die.
Excuse me? What would you say, Karen? Oh, that's right. Yes, Misty. Yes.
Did you speak about that in private too?
Yes, you did.
Because that's a lie.
You had a lot to say in that video when Cropper was accusing the Turners, Karen, and myself for killing Laura, and we had nothing to do with that.
Anybody else that they could think of. When I had absolutely nothing to do.
And was it you, Misty, that told everyone that I hadn't responded to Laura's phone calls? Were you the one that told people that? Because Valerie Ventura came out and said that I had not responded to Laura's phone calls, and that's why she killed herself. Do you want to explain that to me, Misty?
Yes, my name was mentioned, Misty,
sure
by your buddy Cropper. Yep. And when he called the police in Laura's town, my name was also mentioned, you liar.
And I had nothing to do with Laura's death at all. I wasn't the one that
I don't even know her.
I wasn't the one that was talking to her and gaslighting her.
You're exactly right, Matt. He doesn't mention me. But when you call into law enforcement agencies and you flat out lie.
I didn't call Laura and say, oh, Laura, you should hear what the Turners said about you. That wasn't the way our relationship was. But if I knew that had happened, and that all of this gaslighting was being done to Laura, you're damn right I would have had her on the phone every day until it stopped, because she would have listened to me. But I had no idea I was very busy.
Yeah, Pam had no idea y'all fools were talking to her behind the scenes and getting her to do all that.
Yeah.
Judy.
Tracy. I was in Who Scopes about what? Oh, when they came out about somebody was in their son's store where he worked, and somebody else was there. A family member was
Misty,
in the store.
and this is my opinion, Misty, but I will always have this opinion. I have the opinion that Laura didn't do any of that on her own. She was being gaslit by somebody. She didn't end up on a phone call, and she didn't have involvement with NJ's sister and that son and their son's place of employment because she wasn't talking to anyone and being gaslit, Misty. And it wasn't me or Pam or Matt.
No, so Misty,
or the
how is
Turners that did that, Misty.
How's that investigation that Cropper's called for in Laura's police department? How's that going?
Yes, how is that going?
How's that investigation going? Have they gotten her phone
Misty?
and found
Have you
out
asked him how's that going? How he made a fool of himself and brought even more attention to himself?
How's that going? How's that investigation going as to who killed Laura? I mean, that's still outstanding. It's been a month. Let me see. About 6 weeks since she died. How's that going?
I'll tell you how it's going. It brought him attention, more attention from law enforcement to himself. That's how it's going.
Yes, it did.
And his obsession with me, because my name should have been the one that he left out of that nonsense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But hey, you come in with me, no matter what. Yeah. And then gaslighting, and we would love to have Valerie Ventura beam up here and tell us who told her that I had never returned any calls to Laura and that's why she killed herself. And I'm to blame for that. Let's hear that.
Yeah, they're disgusting. It's disgusting. It's just absolutely disgusting.
See, and you wonder why I can't forgive people. I mean, Laura's dead.
But I want to bring it to with Laura's death, and I did not know her, and I'm sorry that she died, and I'm very sorry for her son. However, this is what I want to say about it. What I want to say about it is the fact that these people, the morning after, Blair and Cropper came out with this story that they made up, not even knowing the facts of really what happened. And they made up a story on the internet and pushed out a bunch of lies and then proceeded to report that story to law enforcement.
Right.
And in typical fashion, and I'll say it, Misty, what they do is only report a part. In putting my name in that, I've never even talked to the girl, ever, except for maybe occasionally on here, maybe once or twice.
Right. These people are a threat to the security of this government.
But what we do know is somebody was talking to her, and it wasn't any of us.
Blurry. I'm sorry. I'm talking to you, Blurry. Cropper said he was going to, Misty. Did you miss that part?
Yeah, Misty, why don't you ask him?
Oh, yeah, ask him how the investigation
Ask him how that's going.
Yeah. Yeah. Or do we need to play that for you again? Well, you were in there. You heard it because you said to me, you were Laura's friend, Pam. Does this make you happy? Are you? Oh, no, wait. You said, you were Laura's friend, Pam. Are you happy now? Why in God's green earth would I ever be happy my friend had passed away? Explain that to me, Misty. You may, I hopefully, you know what? Hopefully you said that in anger. Hopefully that's why you said that. My heart still aches.
Okay, wait a minute, Misty. So he didn't do it. So he's a liar?
Oh, he was
Is that
lying.
what you're saying? Are you sure about that? Maybe you should ask him because he could be lying to you.
Maybe he was just trying to gaslight everybody on Periscope.
Or maybe he didn't lie and he's just lying to her. Either way, he's a liar.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, Pam, anything else? Does anybody else want to call in? I think I've given them their content. I think that the N word is gross. Nobody should use it. I think Neva is a disgusting person, disgusting African American person for even caring who says what when if it's said, it's the same no matter who says it.
Is Pat still in here or did Pat leave? I don't see his little bubble down here, but Pat, I'm going to just ask you not to be showing Allie's child's photo either, okay? See, this is the problem with these people. They didn't learn everything in kindergarten. Apparently, they skipped kindergarten or they weren't very bright back then. Because we all know that two wrongs don't make a right.
Oh, but see, that would be they've been led by the cult leader who thinks that it's an eye for an eye. And see, anybody, that's where the New Testament comes in. Well, and that's where our laws that we live by in this society come from, the statutory laws as well. It's not an eye for an eye. No. So when you have that kind of mentality on a social media app led by a fool like that, he doesn't get to whine when it's done back to him. That's my opinion, or his side. But, however, I will say I don't think it should be done at all. Hey, Blurry.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for the very interesting live. Just before you shut down, I wanted to let Pam know that George is gonna find you the most fascinating intellectual, and not only that, but I have a feeling he's gonna invite you to speak on a podcast, and I think Lynn lost her place. And with that said, have a beautiful day.
Okay,
thank you. Thanks,
I don't know what that is.
Okay, yes, I do agree with that statement. An eye for an eye will leave the world blind. Mm-hmm. That's why we have the New Testament. That's why we have the statutory laws that we have. And that's why Stakes is an idiot. And anybody that goes around believing in an eye for an eye, they do not want to live in peace and a peaceful society. But that's been his purpose on this app from day one, is to cause chaos.
Mm-hmm. Right. Do you know how many people, Karen, really would be dead if we did an eye for an eye?
Yes, and I can say, and as he came in here and talked about me and my relationship to Jewish people, you know how close that is to me.
Yes.
But the Jewish faith and Jewish people, they don't raise their children like that. You cannot raise your children an eye for an eye. Mm-hmm. You cannot live in a peaceful society with laws and rules with that type of mentality. Even Jewish people understand this.
Mm-mm. So frustrating. These people are so frustrating. And I was so frustrated today when I heard Shauna crying about Allie's photos being put out. And all of a sudden, why should Allie's photos be put out for something that somebody else did? Oh, okay. So why are you sitting with Cropper, who did it with vengeance?
Well, that's because they're all hypocrites and they're all disgusting. Exactly. And all I had to do was see Shauna Rob's house and Shauna living in that and know how disgusting she is.
Yeah, I don't.
Shauna, you know, if you say you did all this work, you would be happy to hit the live button and show it, because I don't believe it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, no. Oh, well, she was homeless, or is homeless.
That is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. She doesn't really have anything to say about the situation that Vicious is in, when she is in even a worse situation, because she doesn't even have a car. You know, I mean, that just amuses me so much when every time she goes back to Vicious.
She's not sleeping on the couch. I mean, did you see it, Pam?
Oh, it's horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible.
What was it? Since when do you use a trash can for an end table by the couch?
For an end table. Mm-hmm. Right.
Oh my God, it was gross.
And you don't even have a place to take the plates, the styrofoam or paper plates to put them in the kitchen. I mean, they have to sit in the middle of the floor.
And the dog bowl was in the middle of the floor in the oh my God.
And
hey,
the dog
I can
container.
give you a hint. If you didn't get new carpet, even if you're renting, because we know, Shauna, you're homeless, so you have to take what you can get. But you can rip that carpet up and paint the cement and put a rug over it, because that carpet is not healthy for anyone to live in.
Not even dogs.
No.
Not even dogs. Yeah, no. No,
and if you're paying rent for that, if anybody's paying rent for that, then they're getting.
Right.
But then there's my whole thing again. There is a nurse, and then there is an RN and a BSN. There's two different things. Those are two completely different things. In fact, RNs are almost like the old LPNs used to be.
Yeah, sadly.
See, when you talk to me and you say someone's a nurse, I like to assume, and then I also check, I make sure they're a BSN. Now, the RNs can give me a shot, or if I'm in the hospital and I'm not incapacitated, they could probably wipe my butt. But other than that, I don't want an RN touching me.
Yeah, especially if they're living in that.
I mean, they can take blood pressure and take vitals, but I don't want an RN in charge of my care.
Right.
That's why we have this thing called a BSN.
Oh, that's interesting, Dogmatic. He's there. He's talking politics, and we're just babbling over him, I guess. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
That's just my opinion as far as an RN goes. An LPN or phlebotomist, and then nutritionist is on the bottom of even those, even with a college degree.
Dogmatic. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, it's too bad people can't get along and just keep their mouths shut regarding things that they know the truth about, instead of trying to twist it and turn it into something that it's not.
I mean, do they realize that I could be on this app 24/7 telling them how dumb they are? And Tecmo really wants to argue with me about the law. I mean, really.
No. It doesn't matter. States with legalized marijuana, medical and recreational or
they have different state statutes now. They had to go back and redo all their state statutes.
Right. But again,
he couldn't answer the question, when does federal law get involved?
Yeah, and it's yeah. I mean, I'm wondering if the feds are going to move in to Colorado, California,
but see,
Arizona.
Just in what I know, the only people that Washington. Sit around and care about the legalization of marijuana and all that are the ones that are potheads. And to me, and I'll say it again, this is my opinion, marijuana is still a drug. I don't care if it's legal, not legal, whatever, wherever you are. If you're smoking pot and you get behind the wheel of a car and you drive, you're still going to get a driving under the influence.
Right, exactly. And it's just it's a substance.
Your back might not be hurting when you do it, but you're still going to get the same charge.
Right. Pot's just like alcohol. Can't get behind.
Or you can be like others that just stay in their house all the time and do their drugs. And then but this idea that somehow they're going to take this video.
Right.
And they're going to say, oh my God, this law's been broken and that law's been broken. And
we don't know. I mean,
they're idiots. And to hear him with his excitement of his Google, oh my gosh, it's a felony. Okay, yes. Cocaine is a felony. Possession of cocaine can be a felony. Yes, Tecmo, you're brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Google could help you out on that.
Right. Marijuana can be a felony depending upon the amount that you have in your possession.
Marijuana can be a felony even where it's legal.
Right.
If you have enough of it.
Okay. I think here we're only there as a Arizona resident, we're only allowed to grow 5 plants at a time, but there are people that are growing many more than that.
But I'll say it again: if you're in Mississippi or Alabama, you don't get that pass. You have marijuana or you have cocaine, it's going to be treated the same as an illegal substance.
Right. Yeah. Sort of. I think that's how it works.
So take your hypocrisy.
I'm too old to worry about it. The only thing I worry about now is going and getting in my car. Not only do I have to dodge the drunks, I got to dodge the pot smokers. Except pot smokers usually, I mean, I hope they're not jumping in their car.
I'll tell you what else is doing, and this is just my opinion from my experience. What else the legalization of marijuana is doing is causing our young people to have this idea that they can smoke pot and it doesn't matter. Like all the things that we do about alcoholism with our children, and somehow they have an idea that they can, because of the legalization, is that they can smoke pot, get behind the wheel of a vehicle, they can do all these things as long as it's marijuana, it's okay. That's what I see in Tecmo.
Tecmo must be Cropper's brother, because you know what, Tecmo can never be wrong. I've noticed that. Tecmo's opinion is 100% and really 0.
Tecmo is dumb.
Tecmo
is dumb.
To figure
he
this
literally Googled something to find out that possession of a cocaine can be a felony. He Googled that and got excited.
Yeah.
He's stupid. What adult walking around this earth doesn't know that could be a felony? He had to Google it.
Oh, blurry, I bet. And you know what? Colorado, I remember when they legalized it for recreational in Colorado, their numbers just soared. Their vehicle accidents. Yep. And they were really trying to figure out how they were going to fix that. Because
all these states haven't realized, because this is the other thing that they didn't realize they had to do. When it comes to driving under the influence, which can be any type of substance, then they have no way to field test if someone is unable to drive due to marijuana use or... So it's caused a lot.
It's a concern, and we should all be concerned that it has been legalized. And they tried here in Arizona, let's see, the year that, so 2016, when Trump first ran, and people would not vote for it because they had no inkling as to how they were going to monitor it. What the rules were.
And they still don't. Don't.
I mean, can you smoke that in your house with your children? Just like you could drink in your house with your children? What are the consequences of secondary smoke from pot versus cigarettes? How are you going to manage that? How much can you carry in your vehicle at a time? How many plants can you have? Where can you have those plants in your home with your children? I mean, there were so many unanswered questions, and I don't even think they're finished with the legislation now.
They're not, and they won't be for a long time.
No. But hey, you go someplace. Can you let's see, can you go to a park and smoke pot there? That's my question. I want to know. Can I go into a public forum and just pull out a joint and start smoking it, or bring my bong in and sit there and do that in a public area? These things are what infuriate me. Before you put these laws into and approve these things, should you not have all of the mandates that are going to go along with them? I want to know if my neighbor can go out on their patio, smoke their pot, and their pot can drift into my yard, and I can receive the secondary aspects of that. What are all of the secondaries?
Well, you can, because can tell you what can happen to you. If you're really close, then if for some reason you're popped with a hair follicle test, your hair follicle test can come out positive.
Exactly. And so, I mean, there's a lot of questions as to where they can smoke it, how much I mean, it's, hey, I had a pothead living next to me in an apartment one time, and he'd go out on his patio, which was kind of secluded, but not really secluded. And, he would smoke his pot, and it would drift over into my house. It was drifting into my house. And I was like, whoa. I mean, I had to shut all my doors and windows until I heard him go back in, and I knew that the air had moved it,
Right.
It was like incredible to me that these people so disregard. But you see, here we are with this law now. There's a question. Can you smoke pot in your house with your kids there? Good question. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't even smoke a cigarette with a kid in the car now. Well, and so did I. You know what? I'm not a pot smoker. Blurry, you're going to die laughing. I'm sitting there, and my friend was there, and I said, what is that smell? And she said, Pam, it's pot. I said, what? And I'm like shutting the doors and the windows. I couldn't figure it out. I had no idea what in the world. I didn't know what was going on. And it was just, hey, I'm gonna what
That made
do
me
they
laugh.
yeah wait what do they call that when you're around somebody that's smoking pot and you get the secondhand high from it or whatever? There's a term for it. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to me. Contact high, thank you. I mean, if you want
contact high, you got a contact high.
I did, I guess. I was like, oh wow. Yeah, it's just, I'm like, whoa, and it was legal medically, and he had a medical certificate. So
was it indoor or outdoor?
I would say it was indoor because he was getting it at the medicine store.
I had never heard such ridiculousness when all that came out in my life.
I know, indoor, outdoor. I think he was growing it himself, actually. Yeah, he was the same one that was growing the damn opium too. I mean, I swear to God.
Okay, I think I've blown up the internet enough. Tecmo will be upset for 3 weeks, the 3 remaining weeks.
Well, it would be an uncomfortable situation.
But they all just need to stop being hypocrites. I mean, why can't they say, hey, I don't agree? Why can't they be their own people? Hey, I don't agree with this. And see, if I say I don't agree with someone saying the N-word, look, 33 will still speak to me. Because 33 is that type of person. We can have a difference of opinion.
Right.
But when you have a whole group of people that only want to call out one, I have not yet to hear any of them say, oh my gosh, and it's been played over and over. That's horrendous, what she said about porch monkeys and...
Yeah. Of course.
I mean, that's awful.
It's no different to me. I don't care. I mean, yeah, we had a long discussion about the usage of these things, Karen. We did.
Well, yeah, even before she even started stalking me, which she was stalking me back then. We know that now. But I did that whole scope on Southern ignorance.
Right, you did.
And that is Southern ignorance.
And right, it was. Yeah.
And it makes the South look horrendous.
It sure did. Because these people just have no credibility if they're going to use that kind of terminology.
Well, I can say that I'm very proud that my mother and father raised children that know that that's not okay, even coming from the era that they came from. Never heard my mother or my father say those words, ever. Grandparents, probably, but my parents were smart enough and intelligent enough to raise their children, which... we know we don't use those nasty, disgusting words.
Right. But, people did. It was in the movies. It was in plays. It was in...
Hey, once again, it's class v trash. Guess who the classy one is? It's never used the N-word.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's just a state of mind, I think, that people think. I mean, and I was watching one day, somebody put something on my Facebook. They shared.
And I can say my parents have never used the N word. My father, I never heard my father say that word a day in his life. That's what kind of class of a man my father was.
I could not believe this woman in Walmart referring to the little girl who worked there and said, "Hey, N word."
Well, that's something
Can
that
you
she
help
would
me?
do. I mean, you
I'm
don't
like,
just
are you
say that
kidding?
on the internet
Are
and
you
never say it
kidding?
again. You
I
don't
mean,
just
they
come
use
out.
that terminology, and it's not, that woman was not doing it for shock value. That woman, that was her itinerary. That was part of her life. That was
Well,
the
you
way
can
she
tell
spoke.
in those recordings, and when she says it, it's part of her.
Oh yeah. I mean, that stuff just rolls off her tongue like it's everyday language. You know? Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Your grandparents couldn't probably, both sides of my well, one side of my grandparents could probably afford it, the other side could not. But that generational nonsense was stopped at my parents' generation.
Well,
using that nasty, disgusting language.
Right.
And see, the problem is if she says it, that means she says it around her children, and her children will think it's okay to say. They've grown up saying it. They'll say it around their children, and it just keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah. Well,
and that's why I never should be outraged.
Yes.
It doesn't matter who says it.
Well, and I would be. I mean, in her employment, unless she works in Alzheimer's or dementia units where people they say things that they normally would not have said. That's a fact. But I mean, I would be, even as a nurse or whatever, and I walk into somebody's room and they started throwing that word at me, I definitely would walk out and go find my supervisor and say, I just can't go in there.
No,
and be called
Larry, you're exactly right, because I live in the South and have always lived in the South. I was born in Mississippi. And Southern women, intelligent Southern women, had to stop that. And I was fortunate enough to have my parents be that generation that stopped it for us. But there is no excuse for a woman that is my age, close to my age, ever saying that word. And if you'll say it on the internet, you'll say it anywhere.
Yep. Oh, I think so. And I like to talk about Paula Deen because I was outraged because she's a little bit older than me, and I was outraged when she lost everything because they brought it up. She had said it. They destroyed her career. I mean, she has pulled herself back a little bit.
Yeah, and for her to think that Texaco, Exxon, they don't care, she's stupid. She's absolutely stupid. I mean, they're not going to do business and contract business with someone, with a company that has someone listed as an owner that has gone around the internet saying the N word and the word porch monkeys, which is horrendous.
And her father was in the legislature.
Which doesn't surprise me. And see, that's what maybe, and I was also fortunate enough that my parents were educated, meaning college educated. And so maybe that's the difference. I don't know. Yeah. But it was never acceptable from my father, no matter who he was around, even at the country club.
Right. And let's cheer those country clubs that said no more anti-Semitism and that they let Jews join those.
Can you imagine those legislators in Mississippi right now hearing a former legislator's daughter run around saying that kind of nonsense?
No, I can't. I mean, I would be so embarrassed.
Because right now, if her father was a legislator right now, he wouldn't be over her voice.
No. And I don't understand her sisters. and the other family members involved there, knowing that she has said these things and the things she does continually online. I mean, you would. I think the first step would be to remove her name from the paperwork of the company, and secondly, actually publicly say that they denounce her and that nothing she says represents them.
Well, I don't think it's gotten to that point yet.
Well, I don't know why it hasn't.
Well, because I don't think that the partnership with the subsidiaries that care, because those companies are not going to run around with that being said on the internet with someone that they do business with.
No, absolutely. I mean, look at how many people have gotten in trouble. I mean, it's incredible how many people have gotten in trouble. Wasn't there some guy that was working for Target or something, and they found out he had done a blackface or something back in college in a play? In a play representing what had happened. And, I mean, went after him. It was like, holy cow. I mean, I guess it all comes to whatever,
She's not a public figure. The father's position he's not even a public figure anymore.
No, she was never a public figure. A dietitian. Putting Jell-O.
A non-licensed one at that.
Jell-O on trays. There's your job. Sorry.
Who fought a sheriff's department because why? That's the question, people. And I generally don't ask questions I don't know the answer to.
Yeah. And there's no speculation. Oh, wait, there could be. I could speculate. Could I speculate?
You can speculate, but I'm not speculating. Because when she dwelled into my life and started lying and has done what she's done, and she'll say there's nothing she can do about it. When I have been asked to come there, I'll be in Nashville next week. I was thinking about it.
Oh, that reminds me, speaking of her, when she said that my grandchildren were fat, I want you to show me that photo of my grandchildren.
Okay, and I want to say this. Where's the outrage? I don't care who she was talking about. Where's the outrage of showing a college and saying that a child is retarded?
Oh, that everybody that goes there is retarded. Yeah, I think that,
Now, where's that outrage? But we don't talk about children, Pam. She doesn't do that.
Yeah, she did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did, ma'am. She did. She said everybody else, yeah.
I know. I saw it. I saw it on.
And I was like, oh,
by the way,
here comes another lawsuit for slander.
I don't have any respect for Boomer, but I laughed out loud. Yeah. That was funny. I mean, it was the truth. I mean, she wants to call everybody else out, and she's sitting there talking about people's children like that.
Yeah, that everybody that sends their child to Tennessee, Texas, kids are all retarded. I mean, where do you? I don't. There's another word that's not even in my vocabulary. I hate that.
Yeah. Yes, I know.
And it doesn't come in my vocabulary. I really try to stay, politically correct, because I would never want to hurt somebody's feelings in saying that, ever. Because I think that children.
Boomer stalks everybody's real life. That has been proven. I have all the DMs and I have the emails, and it was him and Lynn doing it together. And it's blurry. They're just gross. And now they don't like each other, and it's funny.
Oh, and before, I did dox Boomer. I looked for him hard, and his wife.
He's kind of funny now. His friend in the Cult of Steaks has come out and said, Adam. As he steadily says he lives in Arizona. He is creepy. Yeah. He begged for Shauna's naked photo.
Right. Yeah, that was creepy.
That's facts. I have that.
And he was, and I think he was looking for your daughter's, the 14-year-old.
Yeah, she got that one too. He got that one too.
Yeah, looking for that. It's very creepy. I don't know.
But see, it was okay. with the idiot in Mississippi when he was doing that, and it was against somebody else. You know, she can do all these things. But
if I was his wife and I worked in a law firm, I would be looking through his computer and his phone to see exactly what kind of photographs he had.
He's gross.
Yeah.
He's gross.
Yeah. He's questionable at this point. He really is. And yeah, I wouldn't just be taking his word for anything, you know. And that kind of, I mean, I think I spoke about that when I found out she actually worked in a law firm, I said, well, there you go, Karen. Now we have to find out if she assisted him in writing that letter. Remember the letter to the bar?
Oh, I can assure you she didn't assist him the way that letter was written.
Yeah.
And she would have absolutely have known better than to even think that was even a possibility with that nonsense. But that's what they do behind the scenes.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess I need to get off of here and get.
But they can keep trying, just like they keep sending police to people's houses.
Yeah.
But you know, the experts, as far as law enforcement goes, that would be Ice Wolf and Daisy. So you know, pay attention, people.
Pay attention.
These people are dumb.
They're dumb. Very dumb. Some of these people are just dumb. I don't even know. I mean, and you know, it seems like I'm concerned about the educational system in this country. I have been for a long time.
Yeah, it goes back to that, I'm sure.
It goes back to how much knowledge they are given in school. And it's very concerning when they say, well, I make more money than a college graduate. And then I have to say, yeah, but you're so much dumber. Because you don't even have the basic concept of, and you know, it's not a difficult thing.
Okay, well, let's think about this for a second. I think there's one college graduate over there, and it's Mississippi State with a nutrition degree.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I mean, first of all,
Mississippi probably didn't have to take a law class. So.
If you live in Mississippi and you got to go to Mississippi State, that's again the classroom trash.
Wait. She's a law enforcement. She's a law. Wait a minute, Karen. She's got the medical, she's got law enforcement, and she's got law degree because she was married to a lawyer. She was married to a lawyer
that she lied on, and it didn't work out very well.
And then she had her own. What size container of Jell-O can this patient have? Job. Yeah. And
she should have stuck with that. But the issue is she couldn't even stick with that. She wants to ask why Gretel's not working. Why isn't she working? She can't even go answer phones at her family business.
Right. I know why Gretel's not working, and that's her business, not ours. You know. I mean, why? Well, I don't work.
But I mean, the nerve is the hypocrisy. You're going to talk about somebody else not working when she's, you know, supposed to be perfectly capable and so wonderful at doing all these things, but she can't even help the business.
Right.
Again, I'll pose the question: why do you think she's not there helping out the business?
So I guess they're like trying to cover up about Judy. Judy out in Cropper. Oh my God! It always happens.
I don't know. Judy is Judy. Judy's gone, is what I heard. Is she gone, or is she under?
I don't know.
What's that account? She's Felix the cat.
Oh, Felix.
And hey, Judy, I know you're Felix the cat because I have it in my inbox from you.
Oh, Judy. Uh-oh.
You sent it to me and told me to unblock you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember.
To unblock your troll, Felix the cat. So, whatever. All right, I got to go up here. You know, I got something I got to get done.
Me too. I got to eat. That's probably important right now. Yeah. Frustrating.
So, all right, y'all have a good night. They will carry on and be dumb and dumb and dumber.
Dumb and dumber. Yeah, just carry on, people. But
the absolute difference is, looks like I can speak for myself and I can say, I don't agree with this and I don't agree with that. But see, with these people, they flip-flop and agree with it is whoever they're attacking against at the time.
Right. And 33 is my friend.
And the things that they have said about 33 and his children are absolutely horrendous, and they've been saying it for about a year, as long as they've been that idiot in Mississippi's been stalking me.
Right. Well, and his mother, that was a very sad thing that I had to watch. There was something else I was going to say. Oh, that's right. If we irritate you and you don't like our scopes and you don't like us, then why are you watching?
Hey, but I invited Tecmo in here, and he came in here like a champ and got shown to be dumb.
I know.
And I knew he would.
I know.
And then there was Steak saying, call up, and then DMing him, telling him what to say. You made him look even dumber.
Okay, and I had one more thing to say. Real quick. You know how they say now that the ashes that they claim to be Justin's father, okay, they were actually from a barbecue? Well, the drawings of the boys and some of those other things,
those were real
the
for
cards
sure.
of the children, those really were things.
And the love letters were real. Yes.
Yeah, those were things that belonged to their family.
They're disgusting.
And I don't care. I've never hated anyone badly enough that I would not have, once I found them, said, look, I'm going to mail this stuff to you, you know.
Oh, which brings me to one last point. Tracy, stop sounding stupid. Anybody over there, maybe since Cropper and Lynn have so much legal experience and knowledge, and Tecmo, please tell Tracy that when you're prosecuted, like her husband was, after she signed an affidavit with an officer in the presence of an officer and gave him her testimony, the state picks up that case, so it's state versus him. There will never be a case with her name versus him.
Well,
please have her stop saying that, because she sounds very dumb.
Yes, but even if the victim refuses to sign, the state will still prosecute a domestic for any crime.
Right, but she did sign.
Yeah.
And that was her statement. And then she says that it's the Turner's fault. But how's it the Turner's fault when she made the statement to the police?
Right.
And then they arrest him. And then now she's on the internet screaming, where's the case between me against him?
No.
There will never be. So, hey, legal experts, Cropper, Tecmo, Lynn, stand up. She's sounding dumb. Y'all should tell her to
Please
stop
explain to her that it's always the state versus the domestic violence.
Or whoever the victim is not named. It is the state versus the defendant, the alleged perpetrator.
Now, see, Tammy, this is the problem. Why did you ask that?
Hey, Cray.
Have you been drinking,
hey,
Tammy?
Cray.
Are you drinking?
Wait, no, what I have to say is, hey,
you're not like this. You used to be such a nice person, and now
Matt took the words out of my mouth. Mine's not parked in a trailer in the back of my house and then left me, and now I'm getting a divorce. We're still happily together, so if that's your answer, but where's yours?
Oh, you drinking, Tammy?
I think he left you, probably because of this nonsense.
Yeah. Poor
thing. Or maybe she ate him. Did you eat him?
Oh my God. What is his name? What was his name? I can't even remember his name.
I don't know. He looked like Santa Claus. Lived in the trailer behind the house. She wouldn't even let him live in the house, or he didn't want to live in the house.
Yeah, she had to go out
that one. And she's going to come in here and ask me where my husband is. Who is at home?
She came and knocked on his door because somebody was whistling out in the parking lot.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I think he got tired of your craziness, Cray.
Right. Yeah, probably. Too bad. It's sad.
So go to your own scope and scream my name like you have for years, but you didn't answer the question. Why did you ask your cousin, your relative, for legal help instead of coming on the internet and begging for $100?
And you know what? Here's the thing. Let me tell you something, Tammy. I was never needy that I had to stay with one, for 19 years. I just
Wait, hold on. Cray Cray, you already said you had a cousin, a sister, a brother, whoever the hell you lied about that was watching me. Whatever happened with that? Oh, that might be the same thing that happened with you calling the detective in Texas on the Turners for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then what, did you have to call back and say, oh, I'm sorry?
Well, I remember when I first met you on
I also have to do one
group,
more thing, and I have to get off, Pam. One more
Somebody
thing. I have to
showed
withdraw. I know
your
it's already over.
conversation with them about how you wanted to leave your husband back then, and you could not leave him, Tammy, because you didn't have any finances to do so. So don't
Right.
pull this bullshit with me and tell me you weren't needy. Your car wasn't even paid for. Your motorcycle, you stood there weeping to your friend in text messages. Don't pull this bullshit. Do you think we forget this stuff? No, 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 no. See, 5 long
And
years of
then
this.
when he finally leaves her crazy, she gets on Periscope and asks for $100 so she can go get an attorney.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 3 years ago. Okay, back then. Okay, so 3 years ago, you were going to leave him, and
Come on,
couldn't
she had
because you
to
didn't
flip
have
flop back
any
over there. She
finances
had to
to do
flip
so.
flop back over there. She got a purse.
You couldn't
Stop
even
it.
take the car. You couldn't even take the car because the car wasn't paid for. Come on, Tammy. Come on, honey. Quit lying. I'm sorry. And hopefully you can go to a refresher course and you can get your certificate back and you can get a job. You got a lot of good years ahead of you, a
Yes. Why
lot.
don't you work on that? And then you can buy your own purse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But this is what I wanted to say. I
Yeah.
have to withdraw my nomination, even though the giveaway's already happened. Remember, I nominated Shauna for the purse. Remember? Well, I withdraw that nomination, even though it's already happened and it was given to Anitra's mom, because
Oh,
that purse has no business in that filth.
that feels. Oh my God.
Yes, that
Oh
purse is too
God.
good for that filth. So I'm glad that Shauna didn't win the purse. But I did see that 5 or 6 candles. I think Vicious had to have been telling the truth because there they were on the table.
Yep, the Cropper candles. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what Carrie called them, the Cropper candles. I was like, oh my God, I can't.
Hey, I can assure you, Cray Cray, nobody's jealous of your life. Your husband lived in a mobile home, literally on wheels, in the back of your house, and then he left you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Then
please.
you had to get on Periscope and beg for $100 to go
Right.
see an attorney.
Right.
And after you had lied and said you have all these family members that can help you.
And Tammy, I have this real boho thing going. I love bohemian everything. But for God's sake, would you please take that scarf off of your ceiling and wash it? I mean, I'm not being critical here. I'm not being rude. Okay. I'm just telling you, you really need to take that off your ceiling. Okay. Um, it's just not, it's, in the
Do you
bohemian
think that's why he
thing,
left?
they don't just have one scarf up. They put several scarves up on the ceiling and overlapping them and stuff to make it look like a festive market kind of thing. If you do that, I'd be impressed because I really like Bohemian. I really do. I mean, I would just like to do that myself, but yeah.
I've been embarrassed for her. That's why I never addressed her. But she came in here and she wanted to ask where my husband was. So that just opened the door for me to ask her if he's still in the backyard. I heard he's not.
Speaking of which, when you bring foam paper plates or paper plates in or whatever the hell those are, you find a place in your kitchen to store those or a closet. They just aren't sitting. Your dog food container, that's really It was such a beautiful thing, that little container that was holding the dog biscuits and
Yeah, but they didn't
treats
have the
and
other
stuff.
part to it. That goes
They,
with the
yeah,
bigger
I mean, it
piece.
was right in the middle of the living room floor with 2 dog bowls next to it. Yeah,
I'm still
okay.
confused about the trash can being the end table by the couch under the
Okay,
staircase.
but and the couch, I mean the love seat, as filthy as it was, under the staircase. Oh, but then let me tell you this, okay? I'm not being critical here. I just want to tell you this. My dogs, if my dogs had access to a box of dog treats or bags of dog treats, and it was sitting next to their food bowl, my dogs would just like hang their nose over and grab that and be gone. I mean, that's a dog thing. I don't know. And please, for God's sake,
No, I
please
just want to know why 2
get
people
that
need
carpet
that
up.
many
Lord,
paper
dear
plates.
Christ. I don't
Do
know
they have
either.
any real plates?
I don't know. Oh, oh, my fan. I know, Jojo. I explained to you why it was the black.
Yes,
Well, I can't
Jojo, and
say.
guess what? In that
I know the fan's
apartment or
black.
whatever it is, the only thing Shauna could have done is rip that carpet up and paint that cement. There's no
But
way.
my
That's not even.
furniture is not filthy. Okay, and I mean that was pure filth.
Yeah, I don't even know what color that couch was originally.
We would never know. Maybe the back was clean and we could actually tell what color
And
it
I
was.
hope she got it out of there because, the Salvation Army wouldn't even resell it.
Oh, hell no. You'd have to dumpster that. Yeah, that's
I was in shock too after she's gone on here and talked about the Turners being homeless and this, that, and another. When we know she was homeless with her suitcase on the side of the Safeway, no vehicle, and then she's living in that. Look, the Turners' house looks like the Taj Mahal compared to that.
Okay. Christina says it's the Lennox paper plate edition. That's what they had in the bag.
Oh.
Okay. And the coffee table? You talk about my fan, which is stained from the whatever. It's got to
Yes,
be.
the Turners are very clean, and their house is very clean, and their furniture is very clean. And look at that mess. And that woman has been running around Periscope talking about the Turners.
Yeah. Oh, but she's talking about Vicious and saying that Vicious didn't appreciate it. I'm sure that Vicious did
Look,
appreciate
Vicious
it.
had enough sense to leave eventually. She wasn't gonna live in that mess.
No, I mean she was. It's disgusting. That table and all of those books and everything.
Oh,
On
I thought the
another
funniest,
couch
Pam.
that had
The
no cushions.
funniest was
That other
her
couch had
saying,
no cushions.
"Yes, they say I don't work, but I sit on my iPad." Shauna, stop lying. You don't work, okay?
And
Stop
I
lying.
understand.
You're not getting any points by telling Allie and these people that you work. You don't work.
No, you've never worked. In your mother's jewelry, your family business.
Yeah, that was a
which
lie
claimed
too.
it turned out to be some damn jewelry
You weren't
business.
okay, we'll go through the lies again. She wasn't a flight attendant.
She wasn't a flight attendant.
She didn't sell the jewelry.
She didn't sell
She
jewelry.
doesn't work now.
She doesn't work now.
She
She
hasn't
never worked in the
redone that
family
entire
business.
pigsty.
She what?
She hasn't redone that entire pigsty.
Oh, hell no.
And I mean, the lies just go on and on and on. I mean, Shauna, really. I mean, don't. Karma is karma. She was one of the first ones to come on here and talk about how the Turners were homeless.
Yeah.
Well, she ended up homeless with her nothing. She had to go back and pack a suitcase.
Right.
And now she's living in that.
Right.
Look, the Turner's house is clean. Very clean.
I bet there's just all kinds of little critters running through there. I'm sorry.
And the other thing I want to say to Tracy, you wouldn't have been out $50,000 if you had done a property bond. See, that cash bond that you put up for him, you should have asked questions. You never were going to get that back. That's not the Turner's fault.
No, property bond. You have to ask. How do I do this?
Maybe the trailer on wheels that she's tried to turn into a home does not. They wouldn't issue a bond with that. I don't know, but I'm just saying. And there will never be a case that says you against him. So stop sounding dumb.
And there's not going to be a judge in the country
that is going to do anything to the Turners because your husband abuses you.
Nope.
It's yeah, not going to happen. No.
Get help.
Get help. Get help. Get help while you're still alive.
Because the internet isn't helping you. Judy's not helping you.
No.
Cropper's not helping you. Stalking the Turner's children isn't helping you.
We see already how much help you guys gave Laura, so I'd be a little bit,
All right, I gotta go, Pam. Y'all have a good night.
Yep, everybody have a nice evening. Peacing out. Huh?
Tecmo, don't explode. You're
He'll
a pretty
have
big
content.
guy.
Listen,
You're a
Karen,
pretty hefty guy. Don't get that angry.
At least we gave him content for the week, right?
Well, and he just needs to understand he's never going to be as smart as me.
Yeah, not when you're
and
digging
Stakes
lines for bulls.
DMing him. Did you see that, Pam? Did you see that in the comments? Stakes was like, "I just DM'd you." Then he was like, "Tecmo, go up." I mean, who does that, for God's sake?
I don't know. But Tecmo, you need to stay at the summit, buddy. You know what I'm talking about. So
Tecmo, go in your echo chamber, as you call it, and scream my name.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. What has had to be done has been done with regard to this app and all y'all's gross behavior. And there's nothing you can do about it. Getting on here screaming, yelling, and giving your quote-unquote opinion ain't going to do anything for it. Nothing.
Not a thing. Not a thing.
He is obsessed with Pat. They're all obsessed with Pat. And I said that today, and I stand by it until any of them can show proof that they stood up for this country and raised their right hand and joined some type of service for this country. They need to sit down and shut up.
Okay. And I saw Misty came back in, and Misty, I want to apologize for calling you a bitch. I want to take that back. I know you don't have to accept that, but I'm very emotional right now over my grandson and what's been done to him. Unfortunately, you people don't stop.
Yeah, Misty, that was wrong. But see, you'll never say that publicly.
You don't stop. It's a very emotional time right now, and so for many years, we have dealt with his emotions and his therapy and everything else. But I'm not going to show it. Karen can talk about it, but I shared with them another post, and it's so hurtful to me that any of those girls took that post and handed it over to Cropper, and were proud to hand that over.
Yeah, Cropper didn't get that himself.
Of a young child speaking about his father and one of his favorite photos of his dad, and what a proud moment he had when his dad was in that play. And you guys took that and tried to turn his father, a man who suffered so long.
Well, see, Pam, me and you look at it differently. When he did that to David, it just showed who he was. Right. And what it is jealousy. He's mad that he's not a veteran, that he didn't have 2 retirements at the age of 40. He's mad that he wasn't the father that David was. He's mad, so he takes it out on children.
Yes, I believe that. Yes. I mean, I think that,
he's mad because he doesn't have the relationship with his children that is supposed to be. He blames everybody. He's mad. So what he
probably read that post from my grandson and realized that his children will never say those things about him.
And Misty, I'll say this: I hope your boys never lose their father ever.
Yes.
It's not a pleasant thing. It's the worst thing that a mother or a family member has to go through with small children. Christina knows this as well. We have this in common. I don't throw Lynn into that category because Lynn hasn't spent time with hers at all. I think other people have raised hers like she wanted them to. But you as a mother, Misty, the day, I hope to God you never have to sit down ever and look those little boys in the face and tell them that their hero, their father, has passed away unexpectedly. Yeah. I hope you never have to go through that.
Exactly.
Ever.
Or
for you to sit with that
they
gross,
have to watch
disgusting,
him
vile
suffer
man
for 3 years before he does finally
attack
before the
these
machines are
men
taken
and their
off.
children because he can't be what they are. It's gross.
Actually, I might go live and show that photo.
Okay, well, I gotta go, Pam.
Yeah. Okay.
They're calling for me. You know,
Okay.
I have to get this done.
I know.
All right.
All right. Adios.